There's a particular reason why I can't log into the stream yet. I can't do it until after it's started.
Although my Twitch is acting up. Just give me a second. I'm just getting what's going on.
Ooh, his Twitch is twitchy.
Here on this happens.
Oh, that's on your camera. I'm trying to scrape something off my monitor, and I realize no, it's on your camera.
Ooh.
It's not there when Wooster's on the screen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am on the screen, as usual. But I am not the Game Master today, as pointed out by Architect of Tears. Indeed, John will be our acting Game Master tonight.
Yeah. I've just got an advert for some random game on Twitch at the moment, so...
Not that you need to be there. All you need to be is here.
See, yeah. You have to sub. That's your problem. You're not subbing to the channel.
I'm subbing to the channel. It's out there for you.
Then you wouldn't get commercials.
Yes, so if you guys can change your character name, so if I'm just referring to you, Roscoe.
Oh.
I'll now quickly change my
rename.
Yeah, right, on this
Why
screen.
on earth does it have my full name? That's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll change it here.
It's just if I'm looking at this, I'm not looking at.
Right. That's a lot easier for you, yeah. Woo.
But you're not streaming yet, are you?
Yeah, yes, we are.
So
it doesn't show. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. We're live on the internet.
The internet can hear our screen.
Yeah. That's yourself for that one. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, I fixed it.
Yep.
Yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 2D4 RPG. And this is my game called the Burnlands Saga, which is run on Fate Condensed, which is this nice wee little book there.
The one I should read.
Which I've given these players access to for the last couple of weeks. I'm still not sure they've read them, like most procrastinating players that they are.
Well, I'll just improvise.
That is part of the course.
I feel attacked. Personally attacked.
Yes.
Well, it's your fault for standing in the firing range.
Yeah.
This is
actually
true.
John is very orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know what.
You got a lighting problem.
He got a lot of sun, and he's got really bad sunburn.
Not that one. Not that one. Not that one.
It's probably your screen windows overpowering your actual lights.
Yeah, it could be that. Yep. Yep.
We need to get you one of those lighting systems.
No.
Oh, a match. Oh no, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I just think it probably is all the light
Froggy.
from my monitors. Oh, I'm going to stay still. I think it's corrected itself somehow.
You're still very red, but
Yeah,
the only way you're going to fix
your
that.
Shirt.
The only way you're going to fix that is A, get rid of your girlfriend. B, get yourself some light that colors you differently.
Anyway,
Just kidding.
Yeah.
He
Anyway.
wore makeup to match his shirt.
Okay. Apart from all the attacks on the GM in this dress sense, there.
Oxfall, everyone die.
Yeah. Okay. Can everyone hear us? That is the first question, and I'll have these reprobates confirm for me instead of me checking the stream
I'm
chat.
trying to find a robate to rep. No, that would be reprobates. Never mind. Can you hear me?
Testing audio 1, 2, 3. This is Roscoe. Roscoe will speak at this volume a little bit softer.
Okay. I think everyone can
Right.
hear me.
Yeah, you come in fine. Well, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
Ooh, Roscoe is very sexy.
Gracias.
You guys can hear me. Can everyone hear Darian and Galen?
Yep.
Or Blank
Well.
Rooster? as you guys would know. Anyway, I'll start the story in that case. Come in to my establishment. It's a bit bitterly cold out there, is it not? Sorry, I'm just cleaning up after the last patron. What do you want? Drink, food, seat by the fire?
I'm very, very hungry. What do you have? I will take whatever you have to eat. I have coin.
Coin. Yes, and I'll pour you a drink.
For me and my compatriots, please.
Drink is better than. Why am I talking like this? Never mind. This is not my accent. I try again. Drink is better.
No, but welcome to my tavern. I think you can say it is to die for.
Uh-huh. Why am I off center?
I would not go that far, but thank you nonetheless, tavern keeper.
Come on. It's bitterly cold outside. There, I'm actually surprised to see travellers such as yourself out in a night like this. Surely there's a story behind this, if you don't mind telling the tale.
Do you wish to hear the truth of the tale or the one you imagined?
I go for the truth myself.
Truth. What is this word you're speaking?
Then perhaps you should not. Then perhaps you should not ask Galen for that. But he does make it all the more entertaining with his version.
And this is when the scene sets back and we find ourselves following a gentleman through the woods. His feet crunching on the leaves and the soil and the cold earth. His breath starting to mist in the cold autumn air. Roscoe, can you describe... So, Carlos, can you describe your character Roscoe for the people?
Sure. Roscoe is humanoid. Tall. Tallish. About 5'9", 6 foot. Thin. Wrapped. His face is covered in lots of bandages and clothing to cover the face and prevent wind from coming in. There's a little bit of a wooden hood. A leatherish, brownish hood. That cloaks around all of the area. Arms, back. It's like a cloak, a brownish cloak. Simple wooden, cloth features.
Yeah.
Bundled
Like
up in like dark clothing to protect against the cold, nature, environment, things like that.
Okay.
Pull back the thing and reveal the face, which is slightly tanned, older looking face, mid 30s, 40s.
Okay.
Weathered look, sand encrusted.
You've been traveling for quite a while now. You're coming back to your starting point in your journey, the city of Ba. You've been traveling for the last... You kind of lost track of time, but must have been for like the last month or so. You've been traveling. You've been into the burn, just on the very borders of the Burnlands. There. And you've coming back with your most recent haul of scavenged treasure. As you're walking through the forest there, can I get you to give me a notice roll, please? Against the difficulty of 2. Against a 2. You need to beat.
Notice roll. Can do. Notice.
Yes. As you're pausing for a moment there, you hear a howl. Initially you thought it could just be the wind, but then another howl joins it, and then another. You've heard this sound before in the wilds. You're being tracked by hounds.
They found me. I must be careful.
So what are you doing, sir?
My hands briefly go towards a couple of blades that are at my waist.
Yep.
No, this is no place to fight. I think I could outrun them. I will use the trees. I would like to try to stealthily find a pathway that'll evade them.
Okay.
Knowing what I know about these woodland creatures, they rely a lot on sense of smell. The wind is going in my favor. I think if I cut through the trees and stay off of the ground, I could avoid them.
Okay. Let's do a stealth roll from yourself in that case. And this will be contested.
Oh boy.
Okay, let me prepare my dice. Okay. And quickly. What did you get, sir?
Superb.
I got a superb.
Which?
A 5.
A 5.
A super B.
Okay. You lead them on a merry chase, dipping in and out between the trees, weaving there at points where but every time you think you've got away from one creature, you pick up that you're getting closer to another. You're not being tracked by one beast, you're being tracked by a pack. And they're slowly but surely closing in. You find yourself coming at this awareness, come to the edge of the forest that you're on. And out amongst the plains is the ruins of an old city. It's maybe half a day's travel to the city of Going by the normal roads, you could make it maybe in a couple of hours if you travel through the ruins. But no one does. You hear the howls coming for you. And I think this is when we'll go to our other companions there.
I see. It's a series of cliffhangers.
In the city. Actually, out of you two fine gentlemen, who wants to have... Are you two gentlemen together or are you separate? That'll be the first thing I'll be asking you gentlemen today.
No.
separate then.
I do not
Yes.
know. Just,
Yes, we are not separate. What? No, I mean,
Well,
no, we
one
are.
of us,
What?
one of us only lies, and the one of us only tells the truth.
You know of each other, but you generally have very few reasons to get together as often as you could there. But you do know of each other.
I do not appreciate the company of the scoundrel.
Who, me?
I'd say we will start with Galen in that case. Galen, where we? It's it's noon. It's noon. So where would you be in the city? Do you think? Would you?
I'm. This is really bad because I worked on my D&D character with Roscoe Carlos, and that's what I've got in my head right now. I was going, well, I'd be at the Thieves Guild. No. Well, maybe I would be at the Thieves Guild. You never know. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Well, at noon, I'd probably be having my midday meal.
Okay.
Somewhere. Probably not at that same tavern that was mentioned earlier.
Oh, thanks. Well, that tavern's a way off. But no, you're in a tavern in the lower level of the city, where near the arena, and there's a bustling crowd of folks there, as there has been just a recent series of fights in the arena to get everyone in the mood for the upcoming festivities, in that the king, well, not the king at the moment, the crown prince of the Vale is about to be crowned in the next couple of days, after his father, King Barros, passed away, unfortunately.
Were these circumstances mysterious?
This
or
is
was it old age?
Well, this is a thing. There's been nothing that has been made of it being, mysterious. But at the same time, it was a shock for the people, in that they still expected King Barros to, be around for the next at least a few more years, at least maybe even a decade or two. But sometimes the reign of kings don't last as long as people suspect, even for natural reasons. And Prince Barrow will be shortly coronated soon. There's a nervous tension in the air because, as part of the coronation ceremony, elements of the army have been brought to the city, and outside is a massive camp with at least 2,000 soldiers waiting to march through in the next couple of days as part of the parade. But there is also talk that the other powers in the area, the Confederation of New Power and the Rome Republic, are sending delegations themselves.
For the coronation night. So.
And of course, people are talking about how much of the armor being here is for, the parade, and how much of it is there to make sure the delegations don't act up or do anything. So there's a nervous excitement there. And it is just as you're sitting down, what do you think you're having to eat there?
Let's see. Well, mead and the food wouldn't really matter. Whatever was available, but there would definitely be meat involved.
Oh, you have a tankard of meat, and you're having some stew and bread there that in the play, and you're doing that. And I'm going to give you an extra fate point because I'm going to add a complication to your day, sir.
Oh, goody.
Because, Stephen, if you don't mind, explain to the people.
Stephen.
Sorry, Gail, if you don't mind, explain to the audience. What is your trouble, sir?
Well, you see, it's never my fault.
Yeah.
It's always the other guy's fault, and I pretty much go out of my way to make sure everybody else knows it was the other guy's fault.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was an incident at a tavern last night, wasn't there?
No.
Although it was the other guy, of course.
It was the other guy, yeah.
Yes, I forgot about that, yes. Yeah, it's just
no incident, none whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately through the door, the other guys walked in, surrounded by his friends, and he has seen you.
Maybe. Maybe you've seen me. Where was that?
Slowly making their way through the crowd. What are you doing?
I don't have a wooden cloak, but I do have a cloak.
Yeah.
I will give up on my delicious, wonderful meal.
Yeah.
And do my best to blend in, since you did mention it was crowded.
Yep.
And that is one thing you will notice about me.
Mm-hmm.
Since I haven't described myself, I'm basically the everyman's man. Basically, you wouldn't notice me in a crowd because, well, I don't stand out in any way whatsoever. Well, maybe that would make me stand out, but
yeah.
I blend in well.
Yeah.
But I will do my best to find a route away from the trouble that supposedly happened to me yesterday.
Yeah. And because, as I said, the place is crowded, there is an aspect. I'm going to give you a free opportunity to use a free invoke on that there. So when you do, are you trying to? So how are you trying? Are you going to be trying to use your stealth to escape, or are you going to try and do something else?
Either stealth or no. I don't think I have time to switch cloaks with anybody. Yeah, stealth sounds like a good plan.
Okay. Stealth roll, and you gain a +2 to it.
So I just click stealth and then add 2.
+2. That should roll.
Wow, I rolled really crappy.
Yes.
Got a 2 there. Is it? Yep. We'll see what. Doesn't matter. You hear as you kind of just dip out, wiggling your way through the crowd. You hear, where did that swine go? He was just there a minute ago. Calm down, Bill.
Yeah.
It's not. He bloody had me spending the night in the cell. I didn't pick that person's pocket.
See, that's the secret. You blame it on the blind guy who can't see you.
He had dark glasses on. You didn't realize he wasn't blind. He was just going for affectation there. No. But as you're slowly but surely weaving your way out and through the back door of the tavern, how about we'll then cut over to Darian. What are you doing, sir?
Of course, I am performing my usual morning prayer. with my hands crossed, my helmet with steel what a visor closed right beside me as I'm kneeled in front of the local shrine with the image of a god hanged from its wall.
Yeah.
And my frustration sincere and focused. The glimmer of my well-maintained metal armor shining in what little sunlight comes through the clouds.
Yeah. The shrine you're at is one that is there, but it's not very often used. You're probably one of the few adherents of your faith in the city there.
A city of faithless heathens.
A very crowded city of heathens in your eyes there.
Too many of them lack faith. Too many worship the wrong idols.
Wrong idols.
It's just as you're praying there, you hear a thunk as it appears that a stone hits the idol.
And I turn around to look at whoever did this sacrilege.
It's a crowd of kids, kind of like just like going looking agog and nestling each other. They haven't realised that you have turned as of yet.
Well, I proceed to stand up, picking my helmet from the ground, keeping it under my arm, taking steps closer to loom over these children. And as I do get close enough, with a stern and heavy voice, "Does your insolence know no bounds, children?"
Do they know what insolence means?
You just hear one of the voices, high pitch, higher than even I can do, goes, What does the word insolence mean?
Insolent and uneducated. I should have seen this one coming.
Oh, look, guys, it's a toff. Fuck off.
Very well then. I proceed to grab one of that one by the collar.
Contested roll. I would say
Sure.
Athletics on your end.
Athletics, not fighting.
I think it's more about how fast can your hand dart out there.
Yeah, I would still count it as being being a fighting roll, but either way,
Yeah.
it's a fair check. No, it isn't because
Roll.
it's a mediocre one.
Mediocre. Just as you go out to grab the child, he just starts by the barest of centimeters. You just feel the cloth slip through the fingers as you go for them, and they just run off. As they're doing that, you just hear a wizened voice come. Nobody respects the shrines anymore.
Not no one. merely a lot fewer than they used to be. Recomposing myself and praying to the heavens for forgiveness for my own insolence. In my mind, I proceed to turn towards the sound of the elderly gentleman.
The gentleman in question is in a plain black robes with the cross of your symbol of your sect around his neck. He just goes, used to be that one day it didn't matter if the children didn't believe, they would at least leave well enough alone. But nowadays, and you just see him, he goes to brush off any detritus of the shrine. But nowadays, they just see such things as something to throw stones at and have a laugh at how good they are at their cast.
Such is the way of the unbeliever, seeing not the path ahead, but only what is at hand.
Have you been in the city for a while?
I, for this journey, have only been for the night. I plan on not staying longer than I need to.
Your accent. You're from Rome, aren't you?
Yes, I served in the Republic.
It's been a long time since I visited my homeland. What news is there?
All is well. The High Priest has issued a new crusade to the Burnlands.
Yeah, crusade after crusade. So
You cut off there, I can't hear
yeah,
anything.
sorry. Crusade. So I came to be in this city. I was in the Holy Father's. Forgot how they're counting them nowadays. Possibly the third crusade of his illustrious father Gustavius. My knee was blown in the fight, and unfortunately I got left behind, dragged myself, and fortunately a company from the Vale found me and took care of me. I've never went back to the home afterwards.
You have not returned. They would give you a hero's welcome.
I might have served in the crusade, but the way I look at my actions never brought me fame or glory or any of the aspects.
Humility is a virtue.
Oh, damn, I hit.
No,
Sorry. I tried to
not
hit you.
only
Sorry.
that there, but as I was taken care of, the woman that helped nurse me back to health, I fell in love with her. And
I see. You've been tempted by the pleasures of the flesh. I understand.
let's just say it was more than temptation. my son, more along the lines of I had a duty. The state would have looked out for my family in Rome. Here, if I left the family I gained, the field doesn't look after such people. They're relying on family.
I still do not understand, but I trust in your own judgment. It is your life, and as you are an adherent of the true values, it is not in my place to judge you, but God's.
And he just goes, what brings a Templar trained to the Fae?
I am doing the work of God. The God is great, and he has sent me to find my calling in the Burnlands. It is not part of the crusade, that much he has shown me. But the path he lays in front of me has led me here. For now, I can only wait and pray until God gives me a sign to move forward.
And I think in that case, you may need a shrine more than me. And he hobbles off and lets you go back to your prayers.
There would have been space for two. But I take this opportunity to give him a blessing as he leaves, and then turn back to kneel in front of the shrine to pray. Father.
It's as you're kneeling down to pray, you see an image in your mind. It's the image you recognize as you saw the image just earlier this morning as you were riding up the road into the gates there. It's the city of but it's in flames.
Writing signs. This leads me to stand up. As God did not bestow upon me the knowledge of what is to come, and thus I cannot warn anyone, so I must see to the walls, and perhaps I can see what is coming.
Okay. As you're walking around a corner there, you run into someone. They're come around the other end of the corridor, and you both bump
Into one another.
Yeah, Galen.
Oh,
Clong!
Yeah.
boonk, and I fall down. Because he's all metal and stuff.
I
Sorry,
see.
sir.
That must be what is going to happen.
Crash landing. Sorry, sir. I didn't see you coming around the corner.
Hello, Galen.
How do you know my name?
We've met before. I do believe it was regarding the charge of a missing sheep.
A missing sheep? Sorry, I'm not into sheep.
Yes, that is exactly what you claimed.
I'm developing a reputation, and it's not even a real one.
That's the nature of reputations half the time.
By the way,
Well, can I assume that you are fleeing from something?
you can assume, yes. You can always assume I'm fleeing from something. I'm never where I don't want to be.
Well then, have you discovered any new relics?
No, just the sheep one. No, I have not discovered any new relics recently. But I'm always keeping my eye out. And how was your prayer?
It was interrupted.
Oh. What interrupted it?
Some insolent younglings.
Oh. Yes, aren't all younglings that way?
No, not those ones that have been taught properly.
In this city, you're all right. You've
I
got high
never
hopes.
said. I never said anywhere in this city.
Hmm. Can I ask John a question?
Of
as
course.
me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure we discussed this. Where exactly am I from?
That's up to yourself. I think we were just leaving that you're exceptionally well travelled. You possibly have easily been to most of the powers there.
I was thinking I was originally from the Vale, which was why I was back here, but
I would say you could easily be in, you could easily be from the Vale if you want, and that's just your travels have taken you into Rome easily.
yeah.
Are you? I just imagine you are the sort of character that would fall foul of Templars.
Well, I'd also not stick around too long after I did things with sheep. Wherever that might be, but okay, thank you.
It's funny.
To Galen.
There was a perfectly good explanation for it. It's weirder if we go into it. It's best if we just don't go into the subject. Yeah, perfectly agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody stole some sheep. You're after them. They blamed you on it. Whatever.
Yeah.
The one time it wasn't me. Yes. Roscoe stole the sheep to feed to the wolves that were chasing him. That's it.
Well, it appears lucky for you, the judge did not lay a claim on you. So, is there anything that you do require at this moment? As per an apology for my rudeness earlier.
No, it's the kind of thing I expect from those who believe in deities, yes, or something like that. But
The god is great.
dog is what? Oh, sorry. I misheard you. I apologize.
Perhaps you should clear the wax out of your ears more often.
Here we go. Say it again.
The god is great.
The god. Okay. Yes. I didn't hear the thought the first time. Perfectly clearly that time. Thank you. My ears are clean.
I am glad to have been of assistance. No, if you excuse
Is there
me.
some way I can assist you?
Well, the god has given me a vision that this city will burn. While it is not out of the nature of God to punish the heretics, I do believe that he has warned me beforehand, so I may stop whatever is to come to this city.
Well,
So I am seeking a possible attack or some other calamity that might occur, so I may forfeit before it does happen.
Well, if you have a few minutes and we have a place we can do this privately, I might have a way to help you.
Dubious, but do go on. I do
Yes.
not believe I have a place of my own, but there's a tavern I have stabled my horse at. Perhaps that would be sufficient.
That would be sufficient as long as it's not the one I just left.
That does depend on a major
I'll
factor.
give you guys fate points if you do make it the tavern that he left.
This way.
That one was very crowded, though.
Fantastic.
And I think this is when we'll fade back to a certain Mr. Roscoe.
Roscoe. It's close to the edge of the forest.
Yeah.
They're still behind me. They're getting closer.
Yep.
The ruins.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dangerous place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with my training, I can make it through there before and slow down the wolves. It is risk as much stake. I've got good catch with me. I've got lots of good treasure.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to leave it behind.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to do it. Take a risk.
Okay.
We will go through the ruins. That's a little exposition on my part.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Okay. As you make that decision, you hear the howls getting closer. It's about 200 yards to the edge of the ruins that you see. Straight up run. You could be there quite easily in a few moments. But a hound runs just as quick as a man or even faster. You running?
Yes.
So give me a pure athletics roll, please, sir.
Usain Bolt could make it in less than 20 seconds.
Athletics roll.
I'm getting a good for that. Okay.
I am tired.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing brings speed like fear.
You break out in the trees at a dead run. You hear the howls intensifying, but it looks like the actions you took to try and evade them has paid off in some measure, in that when wolves break through, they're not immediately on your trail and they are some distance off. You get to the edge of the ruins and you're running through, and suddenly you find yourself in the dead silence of the old world. You're sure the wolves are still pursuing you, but the sound that you heard, that as you're crossing the field, has all gone, and it's just utter silence.
Can I hear my own breathing and my own heartbeat?
Yeah, that you can hear, and that's probably the only thing.
I slow my pace a little bit and observe a little bit and be careful about where I'm stepping in.
Yeah. You're walking on the ancient street, cracked with age, and with the beginnings of grass and plant life coming through it there. Kind of around you is the remains of the remains of the tallest buildings you've ever come across, but they're gutted of age. stories talk about how these towers used to hold mages, but the old magicks have failed, and time and nature are claiming back the land.
This is a good find, but I don't have time right now. I must come back to this, but now I see why people do not come through here.
It's just eerie. As you're walking through, you hear a skitter of some rocks. Can I get you to do another notice roll, sir?
Can do. I freeze and I glance in the direction that it's coming from. Or at least I try to perk up my ears for it.
Was that just a 1-year-old there?
Yeah.
I'd say it's enough for this one. You just hear an ever quiet growl that slowly just fades into the silence. It looks like the wolves have joined you.
Yeah.
In the ruins.
I immediately turn back opposite from them in the direction that I know where Bay is.
Yeah.
And I just take off. Yeah, at full speed,
Okay.
unfiltered, not looking back, just straight ahead. Run, 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 run.
Another athletics from you, sir.
Don't trip over the sheep. Oh, he's getting worse.
So
I think I did it.
Ooh, 3 minus.
Oh, it's a 0.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, he tripped over the sheep.
It's- As you're running...
Wait, can I use fate for something special?
You can use a fate point. You could either... What's your aspects again? Let's run through your aspects.
They're defensive for in case it gets surrounded. One's offensive in case
We're not talking about your...
offensive weapon.
Not
The
your
other one.
stunts.
Not your stunts. What's
Oh.
your aspect?
Aspects. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm blah blah blah.
No, that's good.
Aspects.
'Cause I think you've got one for survival.
Yeah. I usually have something in my inventory to help, but no, the wilderness is no barrier. I know how to identify and avoid danger.
I'll go with that one. And you can use... If you use a fate point, you can either do a +2 or you can go for a reroll.
I want to use a fate point to go for a reroll.
Okay. Right.
So I'm going to
Reroll
remove
it.
one fate point,
Yep.
and I'm going to hit athletics, right?
Yeah. Just... Did that just come back as a 0 again?
Yes.
The minuses were in a
Unfortunate.
different spot this time, though.
When that happens, you're not able to use the same
Oh,
aspect.
100%. It's
Okay.
fine.
So if you were to do it, you would have to find another aspect and how that would apply.
The story wants the wolves to catch me or something. I don't know.
Yeah. My
You
dice
keep
real
tripping
good
over
for
sheep.
this one.
It's fine.
You run up and you're starting to breathe hard. You hear a bang. Looking back, you see a wolf or the hound there has just landed on this metal cart of some kind, and the metal has given way there. That's the one behind you. It's just as you're going, oh shit, and turn around, you nearly just realize you're about to run into its mate that somehow has been able to range up far enough ahead that it's directly in front of you. As you stop, you hear approaching in the other directions the other hounds. You're in, say, at this point in the ruins, you're at a crossroads there, and you're seeing at least 4 hounds coming up to you.
Shit. Clever girl. Blades out. 2 blades out. And I'm going to look for... I see there's at least 2, but up to 4? Did I hear up to 4?
There's 2 that you definitely see at the moment there. And by the sounds of it, you know, from the crossroads, so one directly ahead of you, one behind you, but from your left and right, your sounds of it, there's at least potentially those angles are also getting covered. Also, so at least 4.
I'm assuming there's still big ruins because I'm at a crossroads. There's still big ruins and forms of cover and detritus all over the place.
The probably right in front of you, the building to the right has really collapsed. So the corner that's directly in front of you, that has massively collapsed, and that you can see it. You could potentially, if you're a good climber, scramble up to get up onto the next level. There, the other buildings appear to be more or less intact. There, you'd have to try and find the doors of some.
You know what? I think I could get up there. I think if I get up there, they'll have to come at me one-on-one. It's my best chance. Sorry, that's a completely different accent.
Unless the role involves athletics.
I think I could scale up the side of those rocks up there. That would be my best chance. They would follow them to me one-on-one, and they would have advantage of height.
Okay.
Can I use my burgle skills to do that?
What is your skill? I would say, what's your physique there?
I'm a warrior from the land of His. I'm fairly muscular but thin. 6'9", about I don't know, 180 pounds.
6'9"?
6'9".
Sorry,
5'9". Yeah,
5'9". Why did I say 6'9"? No.
Yeah, he's ever increasing in height, folks.
He's a growing child.
Yeah,
former basketball player. Yes.
yeah.
But I will definitely drop the satchel of treasure that I have on the ground in order to climb up.
Okay. It is gonna be.
I could use burgle, or I could use athletics. Burgle's different.
Yeah, burgle's more like your.
Yeah, I got you.
Your ability to
I
break
could use physique too.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's just trying to avoid athletics.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
They're
let's
both
go
the same
with
for me.
physique. There for once. I'll throw you a bone. Pun intended.
Throwing me a bone.
Oof.
There we go. That's a fair.
Fair. Okay.
He's having an affair
I'm having an affair.
with sheep. Okay, we'll stop the sheep things. No more sheep jokes. Making me feel sheepish.
Okay. You start climbing up there. The wolves kind of bound in to try and stop before you do that, but you just, with one big leap, grab hold and you pull yourself up into the ledge just as their teeth are coming up and literally closing just at the sole of your feet, and they're coming down with nothing. You see the wolves you know, they tried to run up the wall and they just scrabbled back down. You bought yourself some time. But as that's going on, you see not just 2 more wolves come, a further 2 come in. So there's 6 wolves. And with them, behind them at some distance, you see a figure. Off in the distance. I think it's at this point we'll come back to the others.
Or we would if one of the others was present.
Mm-hmm.
But he had the unfortunate timing of leaving.
Yeah,
You know what? Why don't we take this time to
Maybe,
pause in
yeah,
half?
actually, that might be the more appropriate thing.
Take our first break of the evening. Hopefully last, but we'll see.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to everyone else. Okay, so we had moved away from Roscoe Hiss to our other two characters, Darian and Galen, who, after a wee bit of finagling, have found a quiet place. They're in the room of boarding that Darian has. And as Galen has stated, that he might have a means of providing aid to Darian's vision.
Closing the door behind me as we enter the room, I turn to Galen. Speak now.
Forever hold my sheep. Yes. Is there? Sorry, I gotta stop mentioning sheep.
Is there
Sorry, I
no
broke
end to
John
this
again.
man?
Yes. Is there a table or a flat surface, even just a bed, whatever? A flat surface?
Yes.
Is? All right.
Just choose one.
All right. This table here is fine.
Fate assumes that you describe the scene unless otherwise described by someone else.
All right. Well, go over to a table, and I have, knowing a little about yourself, I have decided that you are the Knight of Cups in my deck of Anorak. And I will foretell a future related to you.
What sort of witchcraft is this?
It's the deck of Anorak. An ancient scientific ritual to determine your...
So
well, I
you
won't say the
are.
word fate because that's sort of cheating the system.
So you are one of those Scientologists they speak of.
Yes. I believe in this science. Nothing to do with religion whatsoever. Would you like to cut the deck and shuffle it a little bit and hand it back to me, please?
Very well, I will cut the deck.
Have you heard of the term mixing the cards up? Yes, that is more that is important, not cutting them into pieces.
Yeah.
Yes, you can put your sword away. Well, that is a very
It did
fancy
seem
sword, yes.
weird that you would want me to destroy your holy relic.
So here you go.
Thank you. I don't have a proper deck of cards here, but
Shuffle. Yes. We shall see. We place your card, this Knight of Cups. I chose it because we were discussing drinking earlier. And then we place a card across of it. Face. Well, of course. Can I do this with my hand?
now we can see your crotch.
Yes.
At least you're wearing pants, which is
This
more than I am.
And then we place another card across it like this.
Amazing. This is fantastic.
Then we place a line of 4 cards here, which I don't have room for. Oh, a fool. That's very. Yeah, that's the. Put it over here. There. I can't grab that. I'm not sure. Okay. No.
Showing us your pussy there, are you?
Yeah, the
Oh
fool.
my goodness.
Ooh, the Hanged
Wow.
Man. This isn't good.
Wow.
Wow, look at all this major arcana. And the Knight of Swords, Dave's. Then we place 4 more cards over here. I will do them on an angle. Just what the hell's with all the major
I
arcana?
can't see anything but your
Oh, there we
belly at the
go.
moment.
I'll put it up higher. There we go. I've never seen
Oh,
somebody.
Okay.
this is perfect.
There we go. And then I'll put the camera back here because this is going to be really awkward to try and.
So how about instead of showing us the card, you explain it to us in the words what is going on?
Well, let's see. We have. Whoops, went too far.
Also, the audience is telling us to cease this Twitch tottery.
Yeah, quit showing us your pussy.
Yes,
Sorry,
we
here
are
it is.
adults.
There we go. There's
Oh
my pussy.
my,
There we
that's
go.
one
Meow,
hairy pussy.
meow.
We're Monster man.
This
Now,
stream is intended not for children.
Oh my goodness.
now I have a question for John.
Yes,
Not the-
if I don't choke on trying not to laugh, yes.
Would you like to interpret this,
Okay.
or should I?
How about we do...
You go.
That's a crap ton of Major Arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do it.
Galen, this
Because
is great for you.
This is the character's perspective of what's going to happen. Whether or not it aligns with the truth is up to the game master.
Yes.
Well, okay, there is that.
Yeah. So you tell us what the tarot reading says, and we'll do a roll to see does it occur that way. Afterwards.
Okay. Let's see. The general atmosphere that surrounds is the Seven of Cups, and Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. This could take a while. That's swords. Need wands. There we go. Seven of Wands. The ability to hold one's own against adversaries. There will be stiff competition in business. If this card comes up in the Seeker's... No, okay, it didn't. It's a fight that's already been won. Victory depends on energy and courage. The second card... I always read right side up, even though it came up upside down, is the Three of Pentacles. Fortunately, these are sorted numerically, not by Three of Pentacles. Skill and ability are revealed. The master craftsman is approved and applauded. Congratulations may be due soon. Material gain, success through effort. This card may indicate that the seeker is a member of... okay. A member of the Masonic Order or some other guild or fraternity. This is fairly accurate so far.
wrong.
Guild, fraternity, or religion. It's all the same thing, right?
Yeah. Fair enough. That's good.
And
all
technically also member of a religious order. So,
Yeah, that's a fraternity, isn't it?
Yes.
by the strictest sense, yes.
By the way, I wasn't trained for the Masonic Order. I used to be in the Demolays, which was the kid version of that.
This card is fitting, the Fool.
That one is with me, right?
Shows the foundation or basis of the matter. The Fool. Are these alphabetical? Death. Oh, they're numerical, and it is 0. Okay.
That is the change, a great change.
Yes.
That's the famous one of the cards.
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily mean death. It can just be change or destruction, and thus rebirth could also be part of it.
Oh, it's to pay the heavy price portion.
Yep.
It's you get what you want, but you pay the heavy price.
The Fool represents the beginning of all creativity and the desire to accomplish impossibly beautiful goals. Here are all the joys and possibilities of adventure. Each of us faces many choices in life. A fresh choice is before you. Choose wisely.
That also has like a choose what he chose wisely.
Yes.
Choose red cup.
Yes.
Hey, hey,
chose
hey,
poorly.
Wisely, get over here. You're chosen.
Yes. I pick wisely. Shows an influence or experience that has just passed away or is now on its way out. So something in the past. and that's an upside down the hanged man, which is 12. There's a picture of a cat in here. That's weird. 10, 11, 12. Reversed. So something just passed. Preoccupation with the concerns of the self. Absorption in physical matters. Resistance to spiritual teachings. False prophecies.
Wow.
You've been a bad boy.
Yes, I have indulged you in this reading of your heathen book.
Is that
Something
the
that may
hangman?
happen in the future. The tower. Wow, all three Arcana. That's the world. I've gone too far. I've gone too far. The world is done. XVI. The tower.
Curious, was one of the cards the hanged man? Was one of the cards the hanged man?
Yes,
Yes.
in reverse, actually.
Yeah. Don't worry, Roscoe. That's not your fate we're talking about.
Yet.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot that word. Yeah, yes.
I was left in a cliffhanger, and I hope we get back to it soon. I really do.
Okay. Selfish ambition is about to come to naught. Conflict, change, unforeseen catastrophe, old notions upset, chance of bankruptcy,
I'm not
overflow of existing ways of life.
The
Overthrow.
Scientology does not
This is-
convince me.
I think we're describing exactly what's going to happen. I don't know. These cards just knew something.
I'm not sure if we're describing what's going to happen to Darian or Roscoe here, you know.
Or whether this is going to happen to yourself.
Okay, that was may happen in the future. This will happen in the future, which is number 6, which is the 4 of Wands reversed.
Okay.
This is such a good card that even reversed, it carries much the same message, but in lesser degree. Learn to appreciate the little things of life, the beauty of nature, peace and harmony among friends and family. Well, that's
So
promising.
what you have to offer is vague predictions of the future that have no set time or place.
No, that was for the future, as opposed to
Yes.
the past or the possible future.
Of course. Either way, vague and easily fulfillable minor things that may or may not come to pass, giving you the opportunity to just say, well, it might have happened. And when it
This is-
must happen, then it's vague enough that it's inevitable to happen either way. Your faith is foolish.
No. This is your fears.
This is going on still?
Just as Galen's about to go into the next card, there's a knock at the door.
The god is great.
Saved by the bell. Or the sheep.
I move to the door to open it up. Yes.
Excuse me, are you a knight of the temple?
Yes, I am a Templar Knight. How can I help you?
I've been asked to deliver a message to a Sardarian. I was advised that he is a knight of the Templars.
I am Sir Darian Theron.
Yes. Here's your message.
Yes. I dig into my pockets to pick up the standard delivery fee and hand it over to the messenger.
Thank you.
I thought he was going to say, here's the message, and he stabs you.
It's so he bows his head there and goes, thank you, sir. You hear him walking down there.
Yeah.
Can
I close the door and open up the message to read it.
Just as you're doing that, can I get you to do a notice roll? There, please.
It goes boom. No
There's a
boom
strange
today.
ticking sound from this envelope.
I forgot to do this.
Letter bomb.
Oh yes. Sorry, that was my stunt.
Oh.
So it's not legendary, it's a bit less, but yeah. But that was the 4C was he's the good notice roll is mine.
Yeah. As you're opening the letter, you hear footsteps rushing up the staircase.
Well, I latch on the lock and continue reading the letter.
Just as you drop that latch, there's a thud against the door.
Well, yes, how can I help you?
No sounds. Well, there's a sound. You just got doors locked. Just bash it in there, and you just hear the door just rings in its frame.
Put in letter in the pocket. Then when they try the next time to bash, I like wait for them to count like 3, 2, open up the latch.
Okay. So this is going to be a wee bit of combat.
Is there a window nearby?
Yes, there is. There's a window with a view there. No. So just
What
as you
floor
hear
are we
that,
on?
you do the. As you hear them going 3, 2, you open the door, and a crowd of guys come flying through the door with hands on weapons, either it's clubs, cudgels, some have got daggers. They're in dark clothing, they're in leather, most of them. There's the first 2 kind of fall practically flat on their feet, but the others are rushing in.
Do I recognize them as the guys who were after me earlier?
No, you don't.
Okay, good. See, it was his fault.
Right. Derry, what are you doing?
Well, gentlemen, if it is a fight you wish, I will provide you with one. But the moment I begin the fight, I will not show you any mercy. So state your business or prepare to die.
Just as you're saying that, you hear the words kill the Templar.
Yeah, sure.
I think I should help him.
Fantastic.
Don't worry, Carlos, you might not die first.
This is true. I only got wolves to deal with.
Yes, so you've got a mob to deal with. There.
I got peasant rabble. You have wolves. I believe your foes are more dangerous. They actually use tactics.
Yeah. Okay, so the mob coming in there. So when you're looking at the men actually attacking you, Wooster, there is actually 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
There. Okay.
2 flat on their
Sure.
face and 2 standing up.
Two are currently flat on their face. The other 2
And
are
the other 2 rushing over them, so they
Yeah.
can't even get up because the other 2 are on top.
Okay. So I would say you've got. I want to give you the benefit that you at the moment The way we're using this, we're doing the fake condensed rules for initiative. So we establish who goes first. They then describe what they're doing. They do their role, and then they narrate who goes next. When it comes to me as the GM, I will then just take the actions for all the NPCs. And if I'm last, I then dictate who goes first. So if these guys decide to keep putting me last, I will just then put myself first in the next round as the counter to it. So it does eventually balance out, no matter what. But we'll try and make it whatever makes sense. But as you were ready, and the two of them all got flat-footed there, quite literally more like flat-boarded, I'd say you've got the initiative, sir.
Flat-faced.
This does seem reasonable.
Yep.
So, as I am the one ready, and they decided to invoke this their sacred ritual of giving me the permission to kill them, I will proceed to do so.
The ritual of I'm going to try to kill you, so you should try to kill me.
Right, so you're going to be attacking them. There.
I'm going to be using the fight skill to attack them.
Okay.
I don't have anything particular against common rabble,
Nope.
except I am well-trained knight, but that's not. Don't know if that does anything else. But
not forget these guys.
yeah,
There.
and then regular roll, and it's an average attack.
Oh,
These guys
You're
will
a plus
roll.
four.
That's a -2, so
These guys will roll their
Hey, what?
defense. There.
yeah.
I thought your fight was 4.
Yeah, it's, no, I changed my fight and shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of various reasons. But why the hell? It's showing 3 zeros and a minus, and yet it's coming as a 1. What the heck?
Yeah, because you have a 2,
Yeah.
and it's a net -1. Is
So
what?
it drops it down to 1.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
What you find is as you go to actually fight these individuals there, as you take a swing at one of them, the other jabs in and forces you into a situation where you have to actually quickly change your thrust into a parry, and they keep you just off guard. They can, at the moment, they've not gained any grounds, but they've stopped you from gaining any grounds to attack one successfully.
I will give my turn to them next.
To them next. What will happen is all 4 of these gentlemen there will actually,
Gang up on me?
they'll be ganging up on you, okay? I'll be attempting to attack you there, okay? It is, and you will do a defense roll on whatever you can use fight, or you could use your athletics to dodge the rolls.
Can I use my physique just to rely on my armor?
I would go with, if you're doing physique, you'll possibly be putting up something like a shield, or lifting up something to block the blows you're having to take.
Yeah, I mean, like the armored gauntlets or something.
Alright.
Like,
I'll give you.
Question?
Yep.
Because I haven't had a turn yet, I can't give him some sort of an advantage until
Not
it's my
at the-
turn.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
so I'm
understand this.
using my physique to use my armor as my
Fair enough.
defensive mechanism.
Okay.
That's a 6.
Oh yeah. So I rolled.
You add up all of their attacks, does it add up to 6?
And despite
No, they get some sort of bonus for ganging up.
they'll, because they work as mobs. Yeah, they gain their numbers. Yeah. So on these guys, despite every time they get in thrust, you've got that gauntlet or a wee bit of armor, and
A
just
stronger part of the armor just blocking in
Yeah,
whatever blow is
taking
coming.
there. You're just
You're like Batman, just
Yeah.
dodge, bap, bap,
Yeah.
bap.
And at that point, of course, it
Did
goes,
I, question, did I succeed with 3 or more?
Yeah. So no, you haven't. You. It was more than a tie. You did succeed, but it wasn't a succeed style.
Wow. They also got a very nice roll then.
Yeah. Now it's Gillen. There.
Well, I think the easiest way for me to give Darian an advantage in this situation would be to reach into my pocket, pull out a handful of sand, and throw it at the eyes of these gentlemen to make them distracted.
I also offer an alternative. If you have marbles, I'm not moving my legs, they are.
Well, technically, two of them are attacking you from the floor, so I haven't figured that part
two
out.
Two of them got up. They got back up, so it's now over.
It's a very crowded space, so if there's any marbles on the floor, they are definitely.
Well, that is a marvelous idea. Any marbles.
Yeah.
Pocket sand is also a valid option.
I'll happily go. So that'll be a create advantage for Wooster to then gain invokes. I'll just do it. I'll just be rolling up a straight up defense for that. You then just. I'm trying to think. What will you be using there for that?
Well,
deception.
Well, obviously my best defense is dodge, but
I don't think I would say because you're throwing the sand into the ice. What's your shoot at?
Nothing.
Or do you
I have
resources?
no offensive weapons.
Do you have resources?
No.
Hold on, I'm just trying to think what your.
Deceive would work because that's a distraction.
Yeah.
Not an attack.
Yeah, just I'll give you don't deceive. Just say "oh you," and just as they look, you actually throw the sand in their face. What did you roll?
Two.
Three
The dice gods are not on our side.
No, he succeeds though. So he gains his. So you gain them folk there.
Woohoo!
So
yes, this is the one part of the rulebook I had no clue what that meant.
Yeah. So you can actually you can either you've got we're going to create an aspect of sand in the eye for the attackers. Okay. And while that's you then got a free invoke on that, one free invoke. Okay. And either you can use it to then gain a +2 to attack, or you can pass it on for someone else to use.
I think I will pass it on to Darian since he's much more proficient at not rolling dice well.
And I'm guessing you're going to be passing the turn to Darian then.
That seems like a logical choice. I will pass that to Darian.
So it's just a couple of the guys are trying to bring up their hands up to their face. Darian, you then comment.
Shielded by his heavy armor, he swings his sword at his enemies, invoking their distracted status as an opportunity to strike at a less protected flanks of these foes.
Okay.
So I will take that as a +2 to my attack. Oh, do I invoke it before or after I roll?
You can invoke before.
Well, I've also already given you a +2.
Yeah.
That's the invoke. I get the +2 if I use that.
Yeah.
But I can roll first and then invoke later to decide if it's a +2 or a reroll. Or
that's a fate point.
That one is a +2. That one is always a +2. There.
Okay, fair enough. So I can use a fate roll to then to reroll if I choose.
For
okay.
the other release, yeah.
Yes. So my rules understanding is not very good, but and there I will roll a fight at a +2.
Yep.
Not +20, +2. Thank you.
I've done that
+20 might
before.
work.
That's a 6.
Damn. Right. Here's my defense.
3 pluses and a minus. That's a much better roll.
There. So they're just waving their swords as they're trying to defend from your attack. Yeah, you. Plus what? Yeah. No, that's fine. Your sword slips in there, and two of them go down under your quick blows. There. So two are gone.
It's this fast but low swing that just cuts two of them in the same blow.
Where exactly are you? Are you like aiming for the gut, or are you going for like the leg shot?
A center mass, obviously.
Center mass.
That doesn't kill them, but it gives them enough pain to drive them out of the business.
Yeah. One of them, you just see the slash, and it's just the skin and the leather and all that has split, and you can see a gush of blood there. And he goes down. He's just holding and trying to stop, certain parts of his anatomy from falling out. The other one takes the tail end of the blow and gets a massive thunk.
And you got off there.
So, tail end of the blow comes in and takes him in at the side there as he was actually stepping in to thrust at you. And he's like...
And I pulled the sword out of him.
And you give a brief kick and he thuds against the wall.
Not even a kick. I don't move my feet from the position.
You just
the other hand.
Push him.
Using the force, he's pushing.
Pushing. Okay.
I use force and push him.
So, who's going next?
Next is obviously the ruffians again.
The remaining two ruffians just see this. And they kind of look and they just start to back out of the room. And it's just, they take one step, second step, and it's like the one that's closest to you is slowly just taking steps. He hasn't realised that his mate has legged it. There. It's just as he hears the... You just realise it, and he goes white and just drops his club and he just runs. Congratulations, gentlemen. You just survived your first combat.
Woohoo! Then it is time for the interrogation.
The gutless one or the other one?
He still has the guts mostly in.
Which one are you going to be interrogating? There's one lying on the floor and one against the wall.
Both. Both is good.
I'll take the I will take the one that doesn't have a large gut wound, just has a side wound. You take the other one.
So, do you wish to survive this encounter, or do you wish to spill more than your guts?
Take me to a healer.
You are a healer. Invoke your truth now, and I may patch you up.
He goes to say something, and then just he sees the symbol of your faith hanging from your neck, and he just goes, "I will not take aid from church scum like you."
I draw my sword, stab it into the wall behind him, and procure my healing items. And let him interrogate the other one.
How close is the sword? When you put the sword into the... Is it anywhere near him?
No, it's Above the head.
Above the head, right? Okay, that's what I want to clarify. Okay.
He jumps up and snaps himself
On the flat
Jumps
end.
off.
on the flat part of the sword.
No. It's you just hear the gasping of breath. Okay.
Who sent you?
Are you talking to the one on the wall?
Yes.
The guy is
I have a little pointy thing I could stick in where the big pointy thing went. Who sent you?
the master sent us.
The master of what? Just don't say Bader.
Oh.
Well, this gives a new meaning to the word Master Vader.
Yeah. He's coughing up blood and he's like, the Lord, the burned claw. Gave us orders and we'll follow it to the end. And it's at that point you just hear a crunch as this gentleman bites down on something.
I'm gonna slug his face.
Just as you do it, there's foaming coming out of the mouth. There. Wee bit of a shake of the body, and this head then just drops down, foam drooling out.
Sorry, Darian, this one had a self-destruct mechanism. But do you know
No,
who
this
the Lord
one
of
has.
the Burned Claw is?
I will roll a law. This sounds like less academic and more.
I should probably do that too.
Yeah.
Duh.
That's a 3.
You've heard stories of. They're like. You roll a 3 there. For yourself, it's like urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
It's, it's like stories like, mothers tell their children, if you don't behave, the burnt claw will come for you. The boogeyman, to your knowledge.
I'm invoking my aspect. I use a fate, and I invoke the aspect of foreign-born child of a refugee with a dark past. My mother told a rather more extensive version of these.
I'll give you
I
for
take
a
the
plus 2.
+2.
Yep, I am happy. Yeah, so you remember an even darker version of the story, right? From your childhood there, and your childhood actually involved the concept that the burned claw, it came about, the stories after the very first crusades into the Burnlands, and that men would come back corrupted from their experience and had abandoned their faith and had set up a new pretext or a new concept, the articles of faith. But no one talks about that anymore because, as you know, the Crusades were successful.
At least according to the holy doctrines.
History is written by the victor.
Mm-hmm.
So I will proceed Does this one bite and I spy stuff too, or am I able to heal him,
That one,
or at least patch together until I can get a healer?
can I get you to do let's use your lore, I would say, for your medicine.
Sure. That's a poor check.
Ooh,
Okay, it's as
want some help?
as you're trying to tend to him, he unfortunately just bleeds out there as you're tending to his wounds.
In nomine Pater, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. I proceed to speak out the prayer for the dearly departed,
Yeah.
anointing the corpse.
Yeah.
Seize.
Corpses.
How are you anointing the corpse?
With the battlefield one, I don't have the materials, or B, the location for a long ride.
Okay.
Plus, I anticipate more will be coming with reinforcements.
Yeah.
While he is doing that, I'm going to search the one that was against the wall.
Right. Can I get you to do an investigate roll, please?
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, you find.
I find his underwear. I found everything.
Give me a second. People would do.
Whoa.
You should see in your journal now
Yes, we do.
something that's Galen has found. Galen, if you read that out, please.
Yeah.
My dear brothers in the city of our time has nearly come, and you will soon receive your rewards for following the creed. But even as I write this message, our glorious leader has revealed that there is still opposition to our cause. You will shortly receive another missive that will detail the actions that are expected of you to perform by Midsummer's Eve. One last matter has come to our attention. A treasure hunter called Roscoe of Hiss has been seen near the ruins that were of interest to the Creed and our leader. We require that action is taken either directly at Roscoe or at any acquaintances of his in the city to ascertain what he has found and, if possible, retrieve any objects in his possession for the glory of what is yet to come.
Roscoe. Do you know of a ruin near here?
Roscoe's not here.
Yes.
He's howling at the moon at the moment.
Yeah, he was speaking like Roscoe, question mark, turning towards Galen. Oh wait.
Yes,
Right.
Roscoe.
Yeah.
Have you not dealt with Roscoe?
Yes, I have dealt with Roscoe before.
And as have I.
But this one mentions that he is at some ruins.
Yes.
And as we have been attacked ourselves, perhaps he will be under attack soon.
Yes, we should probably, get the hell away from this death scene so we're not blamed for it. Well, at least I won't be because it's your room.
If you wish to flee, do so at once.
No, not flee. Go to find Roscoe. It mentions he's at some ruins. And the only ruins I know are outside the city.
I did not anticipate the city to be itself in ruins just yet.
That's only parts of it.
Either way.
That was your vision, yes.
I shall gather my things and fetch my steed, and we will head out at once. Choose whichever exit you wish to take. I will inform the tavern keeper of the matter of disposing the bodies.
I think the window is the best choice.
Enjoy your evening.
Usually is.
I wipe my blade into one of the dead men's cleaner pieces of cloth. slide it back into my sheath, pick up my backpack, head for the tavern to pay for my stay and retrieve my horse, as well as to inform the tavern keeper that there is 2 dead ruffians in my room, and to please inform the local constabulary that I will be returning within the next few days to answer to all possible charges against my person.
The tavern keepers. You what? What do you mean you saw your room?
If you wish to check it, you may go. Here's some extra fee for the cleanup. Setting up coins on the table.
Stumps up the staircase.
And meanwhile, I will go to fetch my horse.
There's dead bodies here!
I hear at the stable.
And this is where we'll cut.
Didn't the innkeeper see the other guys running down?
Yeah, but this is
that's not unusual in this part.
Oh fuck. This is when we'll come back to Roscoe, who's been very patiently waiting. There.
There's no problem.
The longer the wolves take to attack, the longer I stay alive.
That's correct. But if fight, we must. There's no way out of here. Anyways,
the hounds have been patiently stalking around the base of the building that you've been able to pull yourself, up onto possibly what would have been like the first or the third floor. The first or second floor, I should say, that's partially collapsed, and have used the height to make it hard for them to get to you. But as I said, you had seen a figure. The figure has now approached, and the hounds go still. A hand caresses the hound's head, and you see a face through the hood, and you can see hideous scars there on the face. And you hear a chuckle, and he goes, I can see that my hounds found you. Good girl. I believe you go by the name of Roscoe of Hiss, correct?
who's asking?
I am just called the Hunter.
And I'm your prey. Is that what you're trying to imply?
I was given a task to potentially retrieve an item from you. Doesn't have to be from your dead corpse. You could just hand it to me. I am a professional. Doesn't matter how I get hold of the item. Just that I retrieve it.
I have many items. What is it that you want?
It's
a muted
It's
game master.
yeah. Yes, a muted game master, the very most rare of commodities.
Yes, finally the game makes some sense.
It is the Book of Silence.
The item in particular is half that, I believe, of a golden amulet that you may have retrieved from one of your more recent excursions. Maybe a couple of moons ago?
It is sold already. You're too late. What you're looking for, I do not have. It is in his already.
For I sold that to Senor Moriarty in the city in His.
That is quite an achievement, Mr. Roscoe, considering that you've not been back in to your homeland in quite a time.
Very well. I see that you're one that has come here for a mission. The choice then is it the necklace or my life?
Or you could fight for it. I'm willing to give you a chance.
You do not know who you are messing with.
Hmm.
From Hiss, after all.
Come. Let's see what you have.
I'll show you what I have. And you see from his back, he pulls a crossbow. But this one, you actually see that there is 3 actual points, ball points coming from it, and 3 actual sets of limbs on it.
A shotgun crossbow.
It's a triple crossbow.
Yeah.
A tri-bow, if you will.
Yeah.
So
He's like, my bow against your swords. How do you think you'll fare, warrior of Hiss?
Easy. You have to come to me. And I'll step into the shadows in the ruined parts.
Yeah.
And stealth.
Fair enough. You just hear him say, "Easy, girls. I've got him." And you hear the sound, of someone climbing up towards your level. So what are you doing? Are you going to stay on the level, or are you going to try and put a bit more?
I'm in that. This is perfect for me. He's got to come to me.
Yeah.
Wait till he's in the level. I'm in the shadows.
Yeah.
The second I see my opportunity, I'm gonna strike at him
Okay.
from up close.
Ambush.
I like how this ended up being backwards. The one with shoot ended up in a fight, and one with fight ended up in a shoot.
Yeah. That's the. So as you're doing that, you hear scrabbling there initially, but I'm going to get you to do a notice roll that's contested with myself. Okay?
Can do.
Okay. What are you getting?
I got a fair.
The fair, right?
They're not fair.
Yeah.
This is good.
You're just straining your ears, just trying to pick up any hint of sound, because as I said, you originally heard them coming up to scrub up that face, but after a few seconds that sound has ceased, and you're like, has he just like stopped climbing there? And it's like the next sound that you hear is a thump, and just as you pull your head back, the actual arrow Well, bolt. There. She said, yep, bolt. I did archery. I get that mixed up. Bolt. Just floods and straight thuds against the wall and just skitters and lands onto the ground. You hear the voice going, that was close. I'll give you, your reactions are good. But my aim is better. And I've got more shots. And this will be the start of our combat, sir.
All right. Okay.
We'll do this is we will do it in a number of, if a number of rounds pass, okay, a few individuals are going to come and help you. There.
Okay.
So let's call it 5 rounds. Okay?
Okay. Survive that long and the reinforcements arrive. Win in that time, the reinforcements arrive at the scene of victory. Lose in that time, and well, I suppose you'll have to make a new character for next week.
or we'll be testing our healing abilities.
Yeah.
That.
As I said, when it comes, this is a thing when it comes to combat, we're being joking about, oh, I'm going to be killing the guys here. These guys can concede at any point, and as long as they've got consequences still to use, even if I then win fight, I cannot just bloody kill them. It's only if they use everything.
Don't spoil it for the audience.
It's just an explanation of the rules, and then we'll get back onto the subject.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how do we do mano-a-mano style combat?
Yeah. So
it's probably going to be one after the other. Only options.
Yeah.
Whoever goes first has to give it to the other.
Yeah. But I'm going to actually put it in a certain situation that this is not just a fight. This is a hunt between the two of you. Okay? So that you're both having to do like either stealth or notice rolls. See if you gain them. And whoever gains the advantage on either one, right? Whether they win it will potentially get... It's like when it comes to that situation would be is if you go to attack, you can only attack someone if you know where it is.
Yeah.
Same for the other guy. If he doesn't know where you are, he's not going to be able to attack you. Okay? So it'll be you have to succeed your notice roll against the other stealth, and if that's done, then it goes on to attack. Okay? And then if 5 rounds have passed, enough time has passed that you've dragged out. It's not done in seconds. This has been dragged out for hours. You've been hunting each other. That's what's going on. Okay. So
good luck.
I think in this case, because the bolt was my first action to set the scene, I'll let you go first with your kind of action as you hear his voice just fade away into the background. There.
Step one, I'd like to notice where he's at, since the bolt came this way. I glance in that direction to see where, noticing that there's a few seconds of reload.
He only shot 1 bolt. He has 2 still loaded.
Yeah. So is it gonna be for my action? I'd like to notice to see where he's at. So that I could take cover and move closer towards him.
You can do notice, or you could do even like say a full defense, and that the idea of full defense is you gain a +2 to any defense rolls, but in doing that you don't do any actions.
Gotcha.
That's
gotcha.
another thing you can do.
We know.
All right, gotcha. All right, so yeah, let's go on the defensive. Let's go on the defensive first. I glance to see where he's at and move to find the cover and get into defensive positions.
Okay.
Make it harder for him.
Right. Do your notice against his stealth. Yeah. Okay.
Notice. Shebang.
Ooh.
Superb.
Oh, good.
Should have attacked.
In this case, he's a sneaky little git, but you catch him and you move yourself just in position there, and you know, just as he's about to let loose, you dive for a wall that would give you cover. So I'm going to give you a +2 for doing that. Okay.
Perfect.
So he's going to do his. Let's see if he actually, because he saw you kind of doing the dive, but let's see if he actually notices where you dived. Okay. All right. So he's going to do his notice. What's your stealth? Do your stealth roll.
I could stealth right now. You want me to stealth roll it?
Do your stealth roll.
Can do.
3. Okay. Oh yeah. It's just as you were diving for that wall, you hear the thump, ding, 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 there, and you hear, damn it, and you're just lying there
Tinky.
on the floor, expecting there to be another shot. You just hear, oh, where did he go? Just ever so silent, and you just hear that ever slight soft tread, but that just gains a wee bit quieter. Yes?
1 round.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, right. Yeah.
Since I
Okay.
could die. There's the
I'm
one.
going to use this opportunity to stay out of his shadows, know where he was at. I'm going to make my way towards where he was at, but knowing position, go line of sight where he can't see, or stay in the shadows to move to where he was at, so I could get in closer range to him.
Yeah. I'd say, though, the idea that you're being hunted, there is a wee bit of hesitancy, so you take a moment or two to compose yourself before you set off. And of course, you're at the same time, you're taking your time doing this. You're not rushing in to this. There. So, can I get you to do your notice roll?
Superb.
Oh, wow.
Superb down. Okay. As you're doing that, you've got a feeling that he should be. It's that feeling on the back of your neck, okay? He should be there. But it's like he's merged into the darkness. You just can't get that bead on him at the moment. So as you're walking around, you cannot find him there. It's ever slight moment that you feel like you're just expecting to hear something, but it's just a minute passes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of this, and it goes on where you lose count there. We'll come on to his doing his notice in your stealth roll, okay?
All right.
Right, your stealth are?
Superb. Yeah.
Bad.
That's good. And it's at this point you hear a sound of sounds like a rock being, something like rock, loose pebble being crushed under the foot, a silent curse, and just before, you react just out of pure instinct, and another arrow flies as you just duck around the corner and you move away.
Are they even in the same building still?
Where it's going to be.
Yeah.
If he was shooting from there, his next position is over there. I will get there before he does, and I will ambush him.
Okay.
For my next move, I will move in the stealth to where he's going to be next.
Okay.
To set up the shot for where he just expecting me to go where he just went to.
Okay. So this is the third round. Okay. But let's do this on a create advantage. Okay.
Okay. How's that work?
You do that. So let's think about this. What skills do you have?
I could use my sabotage. No, that doesn't work.
I would say.
Oh,
Do you have stealth? Or what's your stealth at? There.
my stealth is it good?
Is it good? Yeah. Let's use your stealth, right? To see if you can set up, okay, your ambush, okay? If you succeed in that, okay, against his stealth, then what happens is you'll then gain invokes to use on your attack, okay?
Okay.
Actually. So let's try that there.
Invokes against an attack. Got it.
Okay,
All right.
I'll do it. You use it yourself. I'm going to do it against my note to see if he actually picks up that you're going to be.
Got it.
Okay.
Oof.
2. All right.
Ah, can I use a fate point here to add +2 to this?
What aspect would you be applying, sir?
Oh, that I'm a warrior from Hiss. I know what it is to be, hunting versus hunter. So I know that I need to make this maneuver be here.
I'll give you
Because I'm a warrior and I know how a hunter versus hunter works.
You're in a combat situation. I'll give you that. There. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move.
So you're on a 4. Okay. Okay. That's actually a tie.
Wow.
But he has no bolts left in his crossbows.
True. But he will be reloaded, yes. But
Which makes a sound. This is tense, guys.
Yeah, so you won't gain the aspect of that. So you won't gain the aspect of the ambush, right? But you'll gain a boost of +2 to your next roll, okay? Because you weren't successful in creating that, but you have kind of outmaneuvered them at the same time. There, okay.
Right now we're both at a stalemate.
Yeah,
but I still don't know where he's at. But he doesn't know where I'm at. I'm gonna listen very carefully.
You find each other at the same time.
I'm gonna listen very carefully, and then once I notice where he's at, probably reloading or stepping, I'll use that as my advantage to go attack him.
What happens is, as you were trying to set up this ambush, right? It's just unknowns. The way it gets sprung is you're expecting him to come around this corner. You're leaned up against the wall, and you're just expecting to go thump there. What ends up happening is you can't understand how he's, there must be another stairway that you've not found there, because directly just in front of you, a door opens, and there's a shadow there in the frame, and you just see him, lifting it. He just drops the bow, pulls a knife, and he just charges you. Okay.
Oh, nice! Wow.
How nice of him.
Okay. So this is gonna be, he's gonna attack you. Okay. But it's then just gonna be, he's gonna be using this fight because he's not using the bow. He's using his melee skills. Okay.
Right.
You can defend. You can either use your fight or you could use, physique or no, athletic. Depends on how you're doing it. You could mostly.
I like to use a skill as my defense. So I'm gonna with my blades that I was ready to already stab him. I'll just like put them up in a cross form and defend with them with
So-
a fight.
yeah,
I'm gonna
so
use my
with
fight
fight.
skills to that.
Yeah. Okay. So he's gonna do his roll. Okay. What did you roll on your defense?
Good.
Well-
Oh, do I add my +2 to
Yeah,
this?
you will. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you. Oh, you are gonna gain an aspect out of this because
Ooh.
he
You need an
will.
invoke.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get them folks because I roll terrible. So the knife that darts out, okay, but with your own blades you block it. But because you succeeded massively in style, okay, you are gonna gain the. And I
This is
will
cool.
Just remind myself what happens in the defense and style. Defend. Yeah, you gain a yeah. So you will then gain another boost because so you will gain another boost. Okay.
All right. So I got him like trapped in a second.
Mhm.
That's his action, right?
Yep, that's his action.
Slice.
Yeah. With my action, then I would like to attack him with
Yeah.
my fight maneuver and push my blades forward and slice
Okay.
at his belly.
Okay. This is going to be round 4, correct, Worcester? On my count. Yeah. Right.
One more.
Yep. We will then do his act. So we'll do the actual. So if you do your fight roll, sir.
Can do. With a +2. I'm going to add a +2 this
yeah,
time too.
for this.
Now that I know how to do that. Okay. Superb.
5. Okay.
You rolled below average too.
Okay. All right. So that is 5 against -1 is 6. There. Yeah.
That's a bit of stress.
That's quite a bit of stress. So the way I'm going to do is, okay. You do one blade. He ducks one blade, okay. But in ducking, he ends up, he doesn't evade the other blade, but he doesn't get caught on the blade. What happens is you end up punching him with the actual cross guard, and you just hear a sickening crunch as you break his nose there
Fantastic.
as you do that. So he's going to take
It's just a flesh wound.
yeah. So you would take that actual a consequence for this. Okay. So that's your attack. Okay. He will then try. He's gonna drop his blade. Let's think. Yeah, he's gonna.
That doesn't give me a style point again, does it?
Oh crap! You're gonna gain boosts there.
Okay.
Yeah, you are going to gain boosts. But he's gonna drop his knife, okay, and he's gonna try and duck under you, and then try and wrap his arms.
He's gonna try to tackle me.
So you see at the corner of your eye one hand is would appear to be going for your actual knee, and he's going to. And does have a wrestling tradition. You have seen it before.
Sure, absolutely.
So he's going to try and grapple you and wrestle you down to the ground. There.
I'd like to use my physique to spread my legs far at base and get into a warrior stance, which is, hips apart, wide apart, balance mode.
Yeah.
Unbreakable.
And you're then going to gain the
+2 to this.
Yeah, plus. Well, actually, there was another. Before we do that.
Okay, good, because I already did it.
Yeah. It's just for future reference. Just remember and double checking.
You've got moves for up close.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. What was your roll there?
A 2.
2.
I rolled a 2.
Yep. You're just he's kind of got that hand on the knee, but he's not been able to get fully behind to actually pull it up into the lift. He's at the same time he's trying to stop. You're literally trying to grapple around the back of his neck. So he's then trying to grapple with that. So you're both just poised. They're grappling with each other
on his face.
All right. Well, I'm gonna use my my next attack. I'm gonna use my next thing. I would like to reach up behind me and pull out a different blade with a free hand and still try to plunge it, like slowly plunge it into his chest.
Okay.
Using my fight maneuver.
Okay, you're gonna do a fight. He's gonna try.
We're still in the up close brawly, but now I have a free hand. Just pulled out a new knife.
Yeah. He's gonna try and grab it and see if he can hold it back with physique, pure strength. Okay.
Can do. No more +2s on this. This is just a normal.
Yeah.
A good.
Yeah, you start sinking that blade just starting to dig it into the torso, and you see the trickle of blood.
Maybe like the arm or something.
Yeah, I'd say more like not right at the heart. I'm saying maybe just at the chest, around the shoulder. You're seeing a trickle of blood as you're driving it, and he's just trying to hold you back. Yeah, he's going to take. Another 2 stress.
I don't give up my gold so easily.
He goes, you have to do better than that. You just see the flash of yellow teeth there. That is round 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you have been riding for the last hour and a half, okay? And you are coming through the old ruins that overlook the city of Bur on the plateau that rises up to the east. There is an old road that connects to the King's Road that you've taken, but it's not that well travelled. No one's been on it in possibly centuries because no one goes into the ruins. There's ghosts there, as the people say. Can I get you gentlemen to do a notice roll, both of you?
I might actually notice something.
Rolled it, but nothing happened.
Ah,
Oh,
there it
sure.
comes.
Okay.
Fair and average.
Okay. It takes a while, but after maybe another hour worth of traveling, you hear the sounds of growling. And just as you're coming across a crossroads and looking to your left of both of you, you see another, just a block down, another crossroads, and the building where a good part of the corner of it has collapsed, and 6 massive dark hounds.
6.
6.
Were there 4 earlier? Uh-oh.
Yeah. 6.
No, there was always 6 hounds. There were 4 thugs, but only 6 hounds.
Yeah. 6 hounds are just waiting, snarling, occasionally snapping each other.
Roscoe!
At that, you see the ears prick up and the hound's heads twist to look at this source of the sound. During
Why?
the fight, can I get you to do a notes roll?
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
go.
I mean, this is intense. This is such a cool opportunity, and this will probably. This is cool.
Oh,
Let's call it like it's going to be, I think, a 3 need to be. Oof, right. Let's just see if my guy hears. -1. Yeah, both of you are just too concentrated on your fight. Okay. Yes. So, Darian and Galen, you have 6 hounds approaching you, slowly but surely. What do
Hello,
you guys
Shirley.
do? What do you guys do?
Don't these look like corrupted hounds or wolves or?
They are not wolves. These creatures are, as the phrasing of your religion would say, are creatures of corruption. Yes.
Good. So I take out my crossbow, aim it at these creatures, and take a shot. Straight from horseback.
Okay. Let's so do a shoot there, and you'll then gain +2 because you're stunned against fighting corrupted creatures.
Actually, that's only in fighting.
Ah, fair enough. Good point. Good correction. Thank you for correcting me.
I intentionally left it as fighting after the
So it's
change in the skills, just so that I have a bonus when they actually get in the melee.
Fair enough. No, that makes sense.
And so here we go, and shooting a pew.
Superb, which is a 5. And
Yeah, you tell me how well it succeeds, and I have the.
yeah. I think it does succeed quite well. Let me bring up my doggies. Yeah. So that's gonna be a -2, 0. Yeah. 5.
Success by 5, so that's a with flair. So
I see the way it happens is as these creatures are. Sorry. Whatever.
may I?
Yeah.
So so Darian pulls up the crossbow to his shoulder, setting up the stock as proper, taking a good aim at them, and as he pulls down the trigger, a great racket erupts from his crossbow, as opposed to the one used by the hunter, which is silent. Mine is a bit more loosely made and makes a huge sound as it as the arrow leaves from it with great haste. No, bolt. Whack.
You made a mistake. I'm correct.
Yeah, the bolt strikes at at the hound flying straight past it and to the other side and burrowing itself into the rubble.
What's going to happen there is one of the. So you take one of them out straight through the eyes. 4 of the hounds just balked. It's only one left, the biggest, meanest, snarliest one that you have left. Okay. Who's going next?
I'm passing the turn to my elusive compatriot, who is also at a range of these creatures.
Yeah, here comes the fun part. What the hell am I supposed to do in a fight? I don't know. Aim poorly. I suppose a sling bolt will probably not do much to these things, but it might distract them a little bit.
Don't you have some sort of spells or something to use with your Scientology?
No. That's the only technology. Yes, that's the only technology I have. It's not Scientology. And given I suck at this anyway, I will try and shoot anyway.
Can I get you to do a lore roll? First,
Yes,
and
that
I
might
might
be
give
useful.
you, depending on how you roll, I can give you maybe another way to approach.
How about superb?
Yeah. I've heard stories that these hounds are actually afraid of a creature called a Crisian dragon, which you have come across before once.
And do I
In a manuscript.
do I perhaps know what one of these Crisian dragons sounds like?
I would say so, because you were running away from its roars when you came across it.
And how are my vocal acting skills?
I would say that's deceive, sir.
I would think that would be a good plan. Yes.
Yeah.
You have been practicing these roles in the past.
All pluses.
I am going to try my defense.
By the way, unfortunately, this might actually summon one of these now. We might be in trouble.
Female cruising dragon arrives.
and is looking for its mate to pick up.
Come on home, honey.
Yeah, that last one just stops. And you just see the head go. The ears just droop. And it's just as the sound of that roar just echoes, it just puts a ball back, moves off, and just runs after the others. I would say the roar is so loud that both the hunter and Roscoe, who are actually I'm timing that,
around.
just pause for a second. They go, shit.
The hunter is now the hunted.
There is a brown tail after the.
No,
I can still
Slow
hear
down.
you. Now,
Test.
yes.
we heard test.
Yeah. It helps if I don't accidentally pull
Yeah.
the power cord from my microphone. There.
Yeah. Get one of these. These are better.
Yeah, I'm needing to get a different boom mic where I can just
No microphone at all.
hook the wire away a different way so I had less chance of kicking that. Anyway.
No worries.
There, no. So you hear that, and it's at that point I would say in that brief interlude, as Roscoe actually picks himself up to actually figure out what's going on and go, did I hear that? The hunter's gone.
Roscoe, are you in here?
I think by now you do.
Pay attention to the other sounds as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Who's this?
And I'm gonna stay now even more like
It's a big ass
Move.
dragon.
desperately from where I'm at, somewhere stealthier because I just yelled. And I'm still looking out. Now I'm like totally surrounded now.
Yeah. Gentlemen, Darian and Galen, can I get you both to do a notice roll again?
Let us notice things.
A little better than last time.
3.
Same as last, fair.
Okay. You hear. You do notice stones from the building falling from a higher height, but when you both look up, you don't see what disturbed the loose stones there.
We don't have any reason to believe that somebody's using a cloaking spell, so instead, I will ride deeper towards where the hounds were, because usually
Yes.
when
The
you're
hounds
seeking
regarded something.
usually when you're seeking something in danger, you find it behind the thing that tries to attack you.
By the way, do we notice, and I'm still wondering about this, Roscoe dropped his bag of treasure before he climbed up. Is it lying on the ground?
I would say you actually do notice.
But
that.
obviously the hunter didn't.
He might have.
The
Well,
hunter didn't care.
oh,
he
well,
was
that's
hunting.
that's probably where the amulet he was looking for was. But
No,
My
because
God.
see, that's newfound stuff.
Yes.
The
okay.
old,
Yes,
the newfound
that's
stuff
true.
is the bag that I dropped.
Yeah. Okay.
He was
Never
looking for
mind.
something that I'd found a long time ago, which is sitting right here.
So, so as Roscoe did reply, Darian does answer the call. Sir Darian Theron,
Caleb.
come out! You are in danger.
Yes, I know. There is somebody here already hunting me. And he has escaped.
You want some help trying to find him? Why am I talking like your accent?
I was expecting you to go 1, ha ha ha, 2. You were making me think of the Count from Sesame Street.
Okay.
I'm trying to triangulate where their voices are, and when I hear it on the next reply, I'm just gonna bolt at a speedy run and just jump off of the top.
The hounds have been disposed of. I see no other danger here.
Just watch out for the dragon.
With that, I'm going to with that sound, I'm gonna go in that direction and run as fast as I can, knowing that I may be sniped still, but I'm relying on pure speed.
Yeah.
I have a question, John.
Yep.
Since I did that so well,
Yeah.
the next time I have to impersonate that dragon, can I get a bonus of some kind? Because I didn't even use a bonus there.
Yeah. I'll give you. Let's make it on the next time you have to make the sound of it, but only on the next occasion.
Okay.
Because you just remember it so well.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
remember that.
It's probably only until the end of the session.
No. what happens is you hear, a thud as you see a shape just running up, just leap down and just hit this loose, rubble that's running up, going up to the actual next levels, and just kind of skidding through, and just trying not to like start going down head first and running down that, and just coming briefly at a stop just near you is the figure of Roscoe. There.
So where is this hunter?
Building. Be careful. He's a skilled hunter, and he's got a good crossbow and a good eye.
We should take cover then.
Across the building. Across on the other side of the cross street. Follow here. Follow me here.
Okay.
Okay.
As we're doing that, I'm going to grab the bag that's still there
Yeah.
on the ground and just scoop it up and take
Yeah.
it with me.
Oh, I hadn't already taken it? Okay.
As
What are you doing?
you go to do that, right? You find it's not just you're scooping it up; it's Galen scooping it up by the other strap at the same time. So you're literally just carrying it like, you're holding one strap, he's holding the other. So it's just swinging between your arms. The bag.
Okay.
Whether or not you would allow that to continue is another
That's,
matter.
yeah. That's the thing.
Meanwhile, Darian is on the horse, looking around for the hunter. Hunter holding the crossbow in one hand and the reins on the other hand.
Yeah. There's like another build. There's like just across. There's a wee alley. An alleyway between two buildings.
I just want to put some cover between me and the building that we were just at.
Yeah. That. If you were to go down that, they would have to come out of that building. From what you're seeing. Okay.
It is very gratuitous that you are here.
Gratuitous?
It's good.
Okay.
What are you doing here?
I do believe you are meant to say fortuitous.
Yes.
However, the luck has no bearing on it. Our enemies are the same.
It's all in the cards.
What do you mean?
Come, we'll take you to the city and explain once there, in the safety of the walls.
Okay. Let us go.
Go forth, I will cover your rear.
But there's only 3 of us.
Can I
How can he go forth?
Which one of you, the smallest guy with the? I'll jump on the horse on one of you guys' horses.
I'm certainly smaller than he is.
Take
He's
my
got a
backpack.
shitload of
let's
armor.
go my back, Galen. I'll show you after once we get to the city. I've got a lot of good things to show you. Come on.
Yeah. So.
I'll hop behind you.
Yeah. We're gonna just fast forward.
These Scientologists.
We're going to fast forward. You're coming through the city gates. The sun is possibly now coming close because of the time of year. It's coming close to setting there. You hear the guards grouchy, just going, well, hurry up then. We're about to close the gates. We can't keep them open.
Why?
Orders of the council. The gates are to be closed at night. Sun's about to set. Now, either stop arguing and get into the city, or we'll put you in the go at the moment for them, and the judge can discuss the matter with you.
We're going in. We're coming in.
I guess we're
No
going
worries.
in.
Good. In with you. And it's just as you're going in, the gates close with a thud. And you see them putting the crossbar in. Where are you gentlemen going? Are you going to the
Probably, I can think of 2 establishments we're not going to.
So, Roscoe, do you know an establishment where hopefully none of you are barred?
We haven't killed anybody. We haven't run away from it.
Listen, I know a place here. Very low-key area. Nobody will be looking for us there. I think it is a safe place. I trust it. We have much to discuss.
Yes, let us keep it quick. I am due an appointment with the local constabulary, but I will handle it after this. This is more pressing.
It's
Very dingy.
yeah.
This is where thieves go to hide out.
Oh yeah,
I know this place well.
yeah. This place,
Charlie's!
this place is actually right next to the arena. There. But
Cheers. It's called Cheers.
but
Everybody
unlike the previous establishment that Galen was in, this one is in a sub basement there that you go into, and it's
That's odd because I probably wouldn't want to go into a place that didn't have windows. But all right.
That's why you don't frequent it.
yeah. You've heard of this place, but there's more concerns up on your end about how many ways to leave this place. The back door and the front door, nothing else. No, I need at least 4 exits there. That was probably your reasoning when you heard it, even though you heard that the contacts were better. You wouldn't go there. No, but that's where Roscoe leads you. Okay. And Roscoe, as he comes in, the barkeep there goes, "Ah, Roscoe, it's been a while."
Yes, I am back.
Guessing you've got more antiquities to be priced.
Yes, in due time. I'm sorry, Rodrigo, but give me a bit. I'm just walking in.
No.
We will talk business soon.
No, of course. Room and bag is available for you to use if you need some privacy.
I have friends. Is good?
Yeah, no. No one else is using them. It's free to use.
Thank you, Roger. I will see you later.
Yeah, of course.
Put it on my tab, eh?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm planning on collecting that tab. Don't worry about that.
I will pay you this time. It's good. Come, follow. This place is nobody. We will have privacy and we can discuss whatever.
As a heavily armored knight, I feel a bit outsider in these premises.
Yeah.
But I will follow in relative silence.
Yeah.
It's
I take
dark.
them upstairs
It's hard to
to the-
see, and yeah, you can't even see me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm already in the back room.
Plus, I mean, I'm the one who's going to draw all the attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Clank,
I look
clank,
like the
clank.
god.
Yeah. So you go into the back room and after Roscoe closes the door, as the barman said, there's a private room. There. It's not the most elegant room, but it's not at the same time the most dingiest room. It's comfortable, right? It's loved done there. There's a couple of seats, a wee couch on one side, and in the middle is a low-lying desk where you can put like your mugs while you're drinking and you can have a chat.
Or your artifact.
Yeah. On the more key feature of this is as you look, the door that Roscoe has just closed bolts from that side of the room. Okay? And they're heavy duty locks. You know, they're not just wee piddly bars. They are bars of iron that when Roscoe's closed it, half the bar went into the wall there. It's disappeared. and he's put about 3 of them in. This thing's going to take a battering ram to knock down.
Have you not paid this guy in a while?
No, this is for our protection. This way nobody can interrupt whatever business we are discussing here.
I sure hope so. Every time you talk like that, I have to talk in the same accent.
It seems like a fortress, but I do not see a route out. If somebody wants us dead, they can just wait us to starve.
Yes, it is a good thing that we are in an inn. And I know the owner.
And
By
ironically,
the way-
on one side is hanging from the ceiling is actually a few salted ham hocks and all that. Like, part of the room is the storage. One of the storage rooms also.
Oh, we're not going to starve.
Not in any time soon, it
Yeah.
appears. Either way,
This is why Roscoe's tab is so high, because he partakes as he's doing his business at the same time. And he's
So you say there's ham hocks, but the only question is there one particular animal in here? So that way we can take it on the lam.
Oh.
and this is why you were accused of stealing a sheep.
That's bad.
You stole a sheep, Galen?
No, I did not steal a sheep. The other guy did it. What would I do with a sheep? And don't answer that. So you have some artifacts that you want me to analyze for you?
First
Again?
off, yes, I've come back from many good trips. And maybe that is why this man was looking for me. Have you ever heard of the Hunter?
I have heard of many hunters, but I'm assuming
Very
you are
generic.
referring to a specific one that likes to address himself as one. No, not one that uses that moniker.
He was
However,
after one of the artifacts that I found, but
John, can I roll lore to see if I've heard of the hunter?
You guys can roll lore. Yes, both of you.
oh right. Meanwhile, Galen, can you show him the letter we found?
The witch?
The
The
letter.
letter we
Oh,
found
the
on
letter,
Bastard's
yes.
Sons.
the
Yes, okay. I show him the letter.
So what did you guys roll?
We both got a
Both
3.
rolled 3.
Okay.
the Midsummer's Eve. They're doing something by Midsummer's Eve. What? What do I have to do with this? With this, they are looking for.
So
I'll reach in and pull out medallion. Would you like to describe it? Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh, sorry. They were looking for stuff too.
Yeah.
My bad.
So I would say Blink won't get it, but Darian will, based on him thinking previously about the old stories that his mum told him there. You remember a story or linked to the Burn Claw, and he was called the Hound Master.
Fitting.
A hunter that had control. He had the ability to control the hounds.
Corrupted hounds,
Yes.
in particular.
Oh, Mr. Burns. Release the hound.
So, wait, the hunter. The Hound Master.
Yes. They were chasing me for all the way through the forest.
Yes, I've heard of the tale. He has magical powers of witchcraft that he uses to control the hounds.
Well, it was after this. And I plop
Yeah.
MacGuffin on the table.
Yeah.
MacGuffin.
Yeah. On the back is
The
MacGuffin.
poor guy.
No, I'm joking. It's what Roscoe's pulled out is maybe anything from... It's not whole. You know that for sure because there's a massive jagged edge down what would appear to be maybe about the halfway mark on it.
Is it like just jagged, or is it like a lightning bolt kind of?
It's like something broke in half.
Yeah. There's a jagged edge to it. On the work that you can see is nice scroll work. It would appear to be, we would think of it as, Celtic line work, curve work, like Celtic triangles and all that sort of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. A runic pattern.
Runic patterns and all that. But you don't get the complete image because, as I said, most of it's gone. On the actual section you see is there's a bright green gem, okay, inset into the part that is there, but there does seem to be just around the jagged edge, right, a hint that there was another potential gem at least, because you see the edging of a socket there.
Is there any writing on it?
When you look on the actual edging, okay, there is fine writing on it.
One amulet to rule them all. Actually,
Rope, but effective.
Can I use one of my stunts to learn more about this amulet?
Can I get... Yeah, let's use that. That's your alarm there.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's use that. So do your...
No.
Yeah,
God, I rolled terrible.
Free.
Good, actually.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Just because he gets massive gets a decent bonus on it. What you see is most of the writing, you don't recognize the script, but there is one word that you do recognize because everyone's written, in like the history books, they've written the script of this guy's name. The name's Underland.
Underlin or
Underland, yeah. U-N-D. In the common tongue, it's U-N-D-E-R-L-I-N.
So underling without a G. Okay.
Yeah, but Underland, yeah.
Yes.
But he is...
So, do I recognize this as ancient tongue?
You probably would have a suspicion what it could be. The tongue might be based on the name, because the actual tongue is one of the dark speeches of the Burnlands.
So it's not an ancient.
It's not fully ancient. It's something that has come from the Burnlands. Underland was actually a dark wizard. Okay.
Ah, right. So it's post fall.
Yeah, and he's one of the reasons why there is the Crusades, because the very first Crusades were sent in to actually fight him and his armies.
Right. Well then, this pendant, if it is associated with Underlin, is an important clue. The other portion must be with whomever seeks this portion. The Hound Master.
Or they could be looking for both.
No, they wouldn't have a reason to find this particular one if they know its existence before they spot the other one. Unless they thought it was going to be easy as catching a sweet roll from a child. Now, well,
Roscoe, you
that does
just didn't-
remind me, I did receive a missive before they attacked. I pick up the scroll from my pouch
Yeah.
and reopen it now that I have time to read.
Days later.
It is blank.
So it was just a distraction to begin with. Oh,
Check the back.
checking the back. No,
Could be a secret message of some kind.
Wait, what happened to you?
We were set upon by 4 brigands.
they're the ones we received the letter you read.
Oh.
I
So they
believe
came
they
looking
are.
for me by attacking you as well.
Since you have been named associate with myself, your proximity made me a target.
Why is this artifact so important? I find many artifacts. I mean, this one is pretty and looks very valuable. Very, very valuable. But
I am surprised you have not sold this already, for it is gold. I can feel that.
something in me doesn't want me to let it go. It's too special.
It is the One Ring. See, somebody's after Roscoe, somebody's after Darian, and of course, it's never my fault. Everybody else is to blame.
Yeah.
Why are they after me? Just bad circumstances. That's it.
You're just you're just the hidden fortress.
Next
The
you
dwarves
will
being
tell
carried in
me.
the- You
Next
just
you will-
R2D2 C3PO.
Yeah.
Next you will tell me that you worship the ancient gods of Sosa and Sola.
It's as you're talking, you're going, what's this about the Midsummer's Eve? All of
Yes, it's
you
just-
will remember
We in winter?
you're in the autumn.
Uh,
There. But that Midsummer's Eve is when certain elements of the King's Court fell ill. And it actually led to the King's death.
Hmm. Fascinating. Well,
were either of you involved in something to do with that?
No, what this note seems to indicate. Listen carefully. You will receive another missive for the actions that are expected for you to be performed by Midsummer's Eve. Something big is going to happen then. We do not know what, but these agents are going to cause something bad.
If we're in the fall, Midsummer's Eve is like 9
Midsummer's
months
Eve is
away.
Midsummer's Eve's past. This is
This
it.
note was from a while ago. They took a
Oh.
long time to find you, Darian.
Roscoe, you mean?
Well,
Roscoe's-
no, they were attacking Darian at the time.
Looking
They
for.
Well, Roscoe and you lot there.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, Roscoe's mainly been out in the wild for most of that time.
This
This-
is true. I've been
this
gone
letter-
for almost. What happened in Midsummer's Eve? That already happened. What big news have I missed?
The
That-
death of the king.
What?
The crown's prince is to be crowned. That's
Cra-
why he's called Crown Prince.
Yeah. So Prince
shortly.
Bal is going to be king in the next couple of days.
the coronation is to take place, I hear.
And there will be emissaries coming from all the lands.
It was difficult enough to get a spot in an inn already, but it will be impossible in a day.
Did you say impossible?
Yes,
That's what I thought.
I
you said.
do the occasional pun.
Do you think then what these brigands were responsible for what happened to the king as well?
Perhaps.
These particular brigands, no, they were just cannon fodder.
So it appears that the ruins you found the necklace in are of interest to them. We assumed it was the nearest ruins, as we thought this note to be of a present nature, but since it is an older one. Which are the ruins that you were in? Can you lead us there?
They were deep in the burning lands. It took me months to get there.
Perhaps there is more clues there to be found. However, the more important matter is I have a feeling that something will happen in the next 2 days regarding the coronation. I have seen the city burn. I don't wish this to come true.
Yeah.
There must be something we can do about it.
Daryl, can I get you to do... You've been looking at that piece of paper that you received, the letter that was blank. You've been looking at it for a while. Can I get you to do an investigate?
Yes, you can, but it's not my area of expertise, though I suspect it has hidden writing on it.
That's what I suggested.
Average.
Your particular... What you notice is you notice a particular mark on the corner, which you do recognise. It would suggest that the item that's been sent has been sent by a member of your order.
So this is sent by my order, so there is a secret code here. It has been hidden.
Yeah.
Where is the candle? I need to heat this up.
Would you like
Here.
me to investigate? This is my area of expertise.
This is also what I've been trained to do when
Ah.
receiving a letter like this.
Yeah.
All right.
It
Very
is,
well.
as Darren says, as he holds it up, just the...
You went
Yeah,
aside.
no. As Darren holds it up just at the right distance of the flame, fine calligraphy appears on the page. The wording says, "Brother Darium, I'm writing to you in hope that this letter comes to you in time. I have reason to believe that you will be shortly at the city of Ba. We have Unfortunately, I am writing to you in grave concern, as unfortunately quite recently the king of the Vale, King Baros, has died, and there has been accusations that members of our nation have participated in his death by some means. We will be coming shortly before the coronation of the new king to persuade them that these claims are unjust. But even if they do believe that the actual truth of our statements, we might still have to make recompense of some kind. And we will thus be sending a sacred artifact as a measure of our esteemed friendship with the Vale. If this was to become known, our group will be targeted by thieves. I am hoping that this letter comes to you in time so that you can set up arrangements for our group to be received safely and the item delivered safe to the vaults, as it needs to be kept hidden and safe. Regards, your brother. And who would have written this letter to you, Darren, do you think?
Brother
Read it out loud.
Thomas. No, I do not. I am not the type that needs to read out his letters aloud to understand them.
Sorry, I was told to read it out.
This one I've not written up a letter, so that's why I'm winging it. Okay. The
So as soon as I have read. Oh right, you were not done. Never mind.
and that's how it finishes. It's brother Dormas. In the name of God, in the name of the God. There.
I take the letter, scroll it up again, and set it alight.
What did it say?
Unfortunately, the matter is confidential to that of the Order.
I see.
For me to spill the secrets, I unfortunately am not allowed to.
I see. And I grab the necklace back, the medallion back, and put it hidden on my persona.
Yeah.
Do you wish me to keep the possession of your medallion a secret?
Yes. For the time being.
It goes without saying.
Why would they are still looking for it after
Then-
everything that's happened?
I am assuming it is part of a ritual of some manner. By my estimate, the worst possible use would be the resurrection of the wicked witch of the olden times.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Resurrect them with this thing. Sure.
I did not say that alone, but it might be a powerful artifact required for the spells.
Perhaps
I do know is that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Perhaps there is something in the new items you found related to the.
Oh yes. Let me show you all these new things that I found. And I put out the bag and dump it on the table. Look at this. Huh? Huh?
Hold it still. You're shaking. Oh, it's the dent rid. Yeah, that's it.
And then I have this one.
And
This one is very interesting. Just
other
full of
item
knickknacks.
that Roscoe pulls out is a silver disc on one side, but then there's a mural on the other side. There.
It's surprisingly light for silver.
Whole bunch of knickknacks and paddywhacks and odd
Give
things.
the dogs a bone.
Some
We
This
have
must
the
be-
dogs away.
This must be mithril. It's too small to be shield. But perhaps a
God.
buckler?
Oh my
It
god!
has lost
Sorry.
its boss.
You didn't just say that.
Hmm?
You'll understand on the 30th. Go ahead.
So I went deep in. The big find that I had at the ruins was the medallion, but I found a couple more knickknacks on the surrounding areas in the Burnlands. Not much survives there. It is a very dangerous area. These I found of the most interest, the shiniest, a bit of electron.
Ooh, shinies.
They have those little tubes and
Toothpaste?
tubes, those wires, tubes, string, bits of interest, many with words that I do not understand. They're ancient.
May I take a look?
Please help yourself.
Yeah.
That is why. That's what you are good at these things. You can read, please.
Yeah, Galen. Let's have a lore roll from yourself as you go.
Lore or learn?
Lore.
Lore. Okay. Here comes.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, Roscoe's actually correct in his assessment there. There's no major particular find that he's done in the recent one, but it still is going to get money there because there are people that will collect these things for their collections to show, oh, look how learned I am. I'm a collector of...
Look, I have this Barbie doll without a head in it. It's worth something
Yeah.
because nobody else has this Barbie doll without a head on it.
Yeah. It's people...
Everyone else has a Barbie doll with a
on it.
head. They are just losers.
No, nobody has a Barbie doll. Period.
Yeah. It's people, they're collecting. It doesn't matter if they don't know how it works. There's nothing there. There's one or two things that if you had the other parts of the technology, you could get something to work, but you don't know what the benefits would be until you assemble it.
So batteries not included.
Yeah, you either need the batteries or you need,
This is
whatever
part A, and you
else.
need part B to make it work.
Yeah,
It's
crank
obviously
for-
missing the
The crank for the
transformer
jack in the
amplifier.
box.
yeah. But they're but as I said, it's not going to be the biggest thing, but it still at least mean that Roscoe will cover his costs for traveling there, because there is people that no matter what they will buy this, and they will pay. If you get the right crowd, you can get them to pay silly money for this stuff. There, he will at least secure his earning there. It's not, when you're looking at the medallion he picked up, you're surprised he didn't sell it, because something like that could have
Has
given
a
them
blatantly obvious value.
yeah.
As
That
opposed
is why
to-
Darian was surprised.
Yeah,
Yes.
even Darian picked up on it. This, if he was to sell it, there would have been.
At
It wouldn't
least
just
it's
be
validated
collectors. It
gold.
would be nobles bidding for this.
This is my trump card. This is the thing that
Yeah.
I keep secret.
This
The
is
last
this is
case of
the item that
emergency.
will get me a retirement in a comfortable house.
That's probably why he's kept it. It's a rainy day retirement plan. If he can't do it, he takes arrow to the knee, he cashes that in. I don't know.
And it's
You're not-
easy enough to carry with.
You're not mistaken. That is my intent with it, and it is mine. You understand?
Unless it is
I
corrupting
worked
your
for
soul.
it. I alone. Does not belong to the group, to us. It belongs to me.
By my word, I will not lay a claim on what you have earned.
Thank you. As always, Darian, you are true to your word.
Yeah.
I trust in you. Galen, thank you. What do you think? Good find?
Hey, he's okay. It's going to pay your bar tab, that's for sure.
If you pardon me, I do have a meeting to hold with the constabulary.
I'm
Do
not
you
sure that's
enjoy-
going to be a wise idea, but
Whether or not it is wise, it is required. And what is required must be done.
assuming we can get out of the room.
I do
This
believe
is
that
open
is
to-
arrangeable. That can be arranged.
Yeah. As Roscoe,
Should put all this stuff back into your
Yeah.
bag there, Roscoe.
as you're doing that, you're putting your stuff away, and you're leaving the bar. Roger, of course, will come and say, we'll set your tab after the coronation. I think that'll be the better time for business. The cards are, too keen at the moment there. So just keep a hand on the stuff. Don't worry about the tab. It's standard deal. Okay.
I appreciate that, Roger.
Mhm.
You've always treated me good.
Roscoe, do you have a place where we can stash this stuff? So you're not carrying this big bag of stuff around the city.
It is just as you guys are talking about and you're leaving the bar, you hear an alarm sound coming from the gates. The outer gates of the city.
Wait, do you hear that? Something's happening.
And that is where we end the session for
Yes,
today.
it is.
I don't know. I'll see if I noticed. Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, the loud sound, yes.
Fantastico.
Okay.
We're actually half an hour over budget.
Yeah.
Good one, Froggy. It's the dragon.
As I said, the city is going to burn.
Actually,
The
Froggy,
city's
I'm not the burglar. My burglar skill is mediocre. I don't burgle.
He's as
Nope.
good as burgling as I am.
I might tell somebody something isn't as valuable as they thought it was.
Okay.
Get it for a song, but unfortunately, Roscoe's stuff wasn't as valuable as he thought it was.
Let me put on the aftershock.
I actually like the beginning of this. I find I had fun.
Yes, very much so. That that hide and seek was very tense, and I like that the hunter escaped.
Yeah.
That was the
The-
best part.
That's the thing I like about Fate is
So, John, did the hunter concede?
Yeah.
Effectively? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what it was. You basically you doing that dragon call, he was going, oh shit.
I thought it was because his nose
He
was
just
out of
fled
place.
immediately without looking back.
You did a legendary. That
Yeah.
I was if it was lore, he might have went pass, it's enough to fool his hounds, but that was a legendary.
That was a legendary. It not only fooled him, he has heard that, and that is an attack roar, not a warning roar.
He's like, there shouldn't be any here. But it's like,
But I'm not taking any
Well,
chance.
no, that's
also in the ruins. I mean, we're legit in ruins where
Yeah.
fucking crazy shit happens.
yeah.
And I like that. In my mind, I think he used that opportunity of confusion to disappear
Yeah.
and be like, "All right, I'll get you,
Yeah.
but you won't see me now."
Yeah.
Who knows? He might have followed us to the city.
Yeah. This is the other thing I like about Fate for systems is low powered enemies. Instead of me like representing them by having 6 different people, I can just bring them together as a mob. They'll give themselves wee bonuses when doing it, so they might have a very crap fight, but because they're working together, they gain a bonus for doing that. But as you start taking them out,
They get crappier and crappier.
they get crappier and crappier because
Less bonuses.
there's less bonuses. It really, I like it as a system because if I was to do this in D&D, I would
would have to-
I'd have to run it as 6 hounds, 4 guys there. Whereas what was ultimately a fight of cinematically as 11 NPCs against you is free for me to run. It's free. It's so simpler. It's easier for me to run. There.
It frees up the creative process by not having dragging you down with the. Okay.
Yeah.
Frog Scanner says this was a
Dragging you down?
very first good episode.
Very first good episode. Yes.
Thank you.
The very first good episode in
Alright.
To Die For.
I can't read right now, guys. I'm sorry. My brain is mush.
But you can actually cheat in other systems too by creating a monster that is a mob
Yeah.
that just keeps on getting damage and dies as a single mob.
Or yeah.
It's like don't get me wrong, you can do it in other games there, but it's generally the they're an exception to the rule, or they're a different version. Whereas Fate
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah. Only certain GMs do that, and Fate supports it outright.
Fate just says, yeah, you can do that because it's either that or I could have done it as those were 4 separate guys, but it's just the second you hit them, they're dead.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense just to bunch them together.
Well, you hit 2 of them and they died. There you go.
Yeah, that was I'm doing 2 stress points.
Or the first attack against the hounds, which killed all 5 of the 6.
Yeah, this is because I'm actually combining it either into physical or mental damage. So one of it was a physical kill, and the other 4 just like Nope, that's us. We're out the fight. We're not doing this.
The bonuses of having a loud crossbow is that it makes scary sounds.
It's just that they just seen one of them drop dead, you know?
I'm just wondering if Darian was able to figure out that it was me and not the real dragon.
I forgot to actually do that because it ended the combat and we moved forward. But Darian was totally like aiming the crossbow towards the sound first.
If I was being nasty, I probably would have had. If I was really being that, I was just impressed with it, and it gave a nice way to conclude it. So I wasn't even thinking of how did I ratchet up the tension. If I was being really cruel and I picked up on that, I could have went. Darren, do your roll. Do you notice it? No. You're panicking. You turn to the source of the sound and you just fire off a shot. Give me a shoot roll. You know, I could have been that.
Yeah, you could have been.
Yeah. But at the same time, as I said...
But you would have done that definitely if it had been a -4.
Yeah, but I think that would be also the reason probably why I did do that is it been probably really fucking petty of me when you rolled the legendary.
When you roll the legendary success.
Yeah.
I'm going to dodge. Oh, there, I got away from it.
Yeah, you rolled the legendary success. It would be. This is the other thing I look at it. It looks to be quite petty. But as I said, Fate, I love Fate because, as I said, it does encourage you. You can concede fights there. And because of that, you don't have to fight to the deaths. That's why I thought the fight was actually more interesting there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, your Barbara was quite quick. Okay. Roscoe, Carlos' one was a bit longer, but
it fit thematically and yeah.
If I was to do that in D&D, it would take a lot longer, I think.
Yeah.
I can just imagine the music in the background of Roscoe's fight.
Unfortunately, I don't have the license to use that.
No, but you can perform it live as a parody.
So I just have to change the note somehow, or make it. I do it as future, do it as how they did it in Futurama. And now for our national anthem, with Soyberg's people.
Yeah.
Froggy asked a question.
Yeah.
Architect asked earlier, I guess, did you make that map, and if so, how?
Oh, the City of Birth. That was through Incarnate. There.
Yeah, so you made it yourself.
Yeah, I did make it myself. The assets I used to make it are not made by me. They are they're the assets I have got I've got a paid for subscription to access more material from it, but the actual layout is me. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to clear. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying that it made sense that the bar fight was short because they decided to be thugs and attack a guy in heavy plate mail with the cudgels and swords.
Yeah.
It's like, you dude, serious, come on.
Yeah, they were expecting you to be in your room and they've been stripping that. The guy that was, they didn't actually take into account. Oh, it takes about 10 minutes, like 5 minutes to undo armor. There.
I have a question.
Yeah.
At the end of a session, do our fate points get reset? Yeah. So if you've used,
I lose the one that I gain?
No. So if you've gained fate points, so say if your refresh is at 3, but you're currently up at 5, you will start the next session at 5. It's only if you're at, like, say, under your refresh states what number you go up to if you're less than that.
Okay. Yay.
My refreshes every scene.
Because you're the game master.
The game master. Because I only gain as much as fate points as there's players. So if I'm on 2 or if I'm doing it 1. But you guys can actually compel me and give me fate points also if you want to. Just like how how I was compelling you with troubles, right?
Yeah.
If you were to actually learn of, like, say, an aspect of one of my NPCs, you could actually go, you know what, we're going to take advantage of that in these circumstances, and we want to pay it from, potentially with a fate point,
Interesting.
I have one other question.
Yep.
What did I do the night before that I'm getting blamed for? And I assume it had
That's
nothing
up
to do
to
with
you.
sheep? Ah.
That wasn't the night before.
I think that's like a origin
That's a
story.
flashback. That's a flashback.
That's an origin story from like a few years ago, how you briefly came across each other.
That's
Okay.
a writing. That's a
Well, I
writing
heard it
tool
was the night
called.
before or something, so we spent
The night before.
night
We met before.
okay. No, I thought he would spent the night before in jail.
That was the guy that I introduced the trouble with. The basic premise is you pickpocketed someone, and accusation was made, but before they could actually search your pockets,
They found it in his. Okay.
yeah,
By some weird.
That's what I
miracle.
assumed, but
yeah.
I just didn't know where the sheep came in.
No, the sheep.
The sheep is another story.
Sheep came from Daria, and I could believe it. If you're wondering why I went silent, I had muted my mic so you didn't hear me like cracking a rib, and I'm trying not to laugh.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things about Fate. You can introduce facts into the story,
Yeah,
or like make statements, and it's up to the game to decide if they're facts or lies.
this is the thing. If it's something like, if it just makes logical sense, narrative sense, generally you're not asked to pay in a fate point. Okay.
Huh?
If it's something like, okay, it could be in there, but we don't think it would have been in there at the beginning, but you're then wanting to make that kind of retcon, you can then pay the fate point,
So, like for example, right, I'm in a bit of a pickle, but luckily there is this handy throwable boulder over here that I can toss at you. That's a fate point.
Yeah. If you're adding something there, like one of the examples of what would be, you could potentially try to introduce that as a fate point, but I go, you know what, don't worry about the fate point. It's like, say if it's a modern game and you're in a building and there's a fire, right? A lot of modern buildings have sprinklers. So it'd be kind of like, unless I establish it's a very old building, not up to code, if I had
Or the water
established that it's
source
up
has
to,
been cut off.
yeah, or the water's cut off. If I established that everyone was on the up and up, you set a fire, then you shouldn't be paying me a fate point to actually then have the sprinklers go off. He's going, well, I would be assuming the sprinklers went off, and I'm going to then use that to attack people by, causing a short of this electric wire instead.
What about if we wanted to do something like, let's start a rumor that the Lord of the Burned Claw killed the king.
That would not be. That would not require payment. That would require an action roll.
Yeah. It would be you It would be you
To
trying
start
to
a rumor.
Yeah, you can start a rumor. It would be you trying to overcome, and that might be. Let's be
Deceive.
and deceive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you trying to, or investigation or something like to show that you have the evidence to prove that.
It depends entirely on your methodology on how you started.
Depends on the methodology. Also depends on what the narrative is and what people
Yeah.
know about the Burn Claw. Is it a myth to them? Because if you say, "Oh, I heard the leader of the Burn Claw is assassinating the nobles," if they're unlike, say, Darian, right? Most people would just go, "Oh, that's a conspiracy. They're just a folk's tale." Right?
Next, you're trying to tell me that the boogeyman is real.
Yeah. That'll be it.
And the Santa Claus is coming to get my children.
That'll be most people's reaction.
No, that's Satan Claus.
See,
No, it's the Santa Claus 3000.
Uh,
Ho, ho, ho.
just because I
no,
pop
that's
up
just
my-
3 prostitutes.
Just because I don't have Twitch up, has there been any other questions or queries?
No.
Nope.
I wanted to clarify for Roscoe. I thought of him more like Ray in the first Star Wars, the
Wars?
first the Force
Yeah.
Awakens, as somebody was just randomly going off into the thing to
Desert.
retrieve little knickknacks.
From down Star Destroyers, yeah.
No.
Well, this has been fun. But
Yeah.
I do believe it's high time we let these people off the proverbial job and get some free time on the weekend. So
And next week, I'm sorry to interrupt, but next week we're doing. Is it me or are we continuing with this?
that's you.
It's you.
All right.
It's on you next week, and the next time we're coming back to this is on the first Saturday of February.
Which will work for me, yes, it will.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, next week. Okay.
Yeah.
We're all good.
So the next week is Carlos. Then it's a break week on the 16th. Then it's going to be my game, which is Dungeon Survival, which I need to provide the books for. I have misplaced the PDF, so I need to get myself a student copy to spare. And then it is going to be Blinky's Wonderful Adventure, and then it's going to be again John's on the 6th, and we will see what is after that next week.
The 30th, I'll just warn you, the 13th, I am working.
30th.
Late. 13th
13th, he said,
of February.
of February.
13th of February would also be, it's the week immediately after that. We may take a break then, or we might have a game that doesn't involve you.
Yeah. Okay.
One way or the other.
Because
I think we
know
can manage.
immediately.
Yeah,
Just-
but
just-
we know that you're good for 6th, so that's good.
Yeah. That's what I was
Useless
working out.
trivia, by the way. On the 6th of January, it will be the 1,000th day of my long weekend.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Cool.
So you're talking about weekend and you're confusing me.
Yeah, but most
1,000-day long
most
weekend.
people around here
Yes.
don't know what the long weekend means. Can you explain it to us?
It's a very long weekend. It just never ends.
He
So-
retired.
Yeah.
But a 3-day weekend is, hey, I'm going to take Friday and Saturday and Sunday off because mostly the weekend is Saturday and Sunday.
Ah.
You can
here's
say
an
I have a
even-
4-day weekend, which is I'm going to take Friday, Saturday,
And
Sunday,
Monday.
and Monday off.
Or Thursday, Friday, and
or Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday.
Any combination, it just has to
But
include the
this
weekend.
is even more bizarro.
Mhm.
The last time I worked on a Friday was March 14th, 2003.
Wow.
I had 3-day weekends all the time.
You lucky
Damn.
man.
Before I retired.
Well, to be fair,
Yes.
I've had a long weekend too. The last time I worked was in the beginning of December.
Yeah,
So
Are you still
I-
on strike, or are you retired?
Yes, I'm on a strike still. We technically did have a work day on the 23rd, but as nobody had actually scheduled any work for me in advance, I had the great pleasure of saying, no, I'm not coming to work. You haven't reserved me. But you're still paying me because that's in your contract.
Oh, they have to leave so much notice before you of
Yes.
what your contract is.
Yep, they need to give me 2 weeks' notice before the contracts, before any work before they can summon me to work.
Yeah.
They did try to tell, oh, we have the right to redirect you from one place to another. And I said, yeah, from where are you retargeting me from?
Hmm.
I am not at the moment being reserved for job duties, so I have reserved this time for myself.
Good plan.
And they did try, and I contacted the
union
Not union rep, but it's the
HR.
Labor
uh,
union, labor
No,
authorities.
no. In Finland, we have the system where within the company you have the person who is in charge. The person who is in charge of relations between the workers and the company.
Intermediary.
Intermediary, yeah. But this
Oh,
is
it's
a
not
side.
just human relations.
It's a fellow employee who has a bit more status and has the negotiation right for the employees as a cohesive unit.
Sounds like a union.
It's an elected office.
That-
It's an elected office, but it's not related to being in a union in any way.
In the UK, we would do that with union reps.
Yeah. Union reps are a completely different matter. We also have those, but either way, contacted that one, and she was like, "Yeah, he's totally right. You can't readjust a work schedule that doesn't exist." So I had 1 free day last month, and now we're back on cycling.
It's like he's doing nothing for you. Now he can do nothing for you.
Precisely. The next time we assumably have any work is going to be 26th of January, or was 28th of January, unless by the 14th we announce another strike that will continue after that. So we may have a rolling on strike from now on.
They're dragging along.
Yeah.
Bye, Froggy's gonna duck out.
Yep.
Froggy's gonna duck out. There's a joke in there somewhere. Somebody's smarter than me. Make it.
We should duck out too.
Yeah.
I'm babbling, so thank you very much.
Quack, quack, quack.
And bonus nachos, everyone.
Bonus
Bonus
nachos.
nachos.
Bonus nachos.